Hey, good evening, everybody. It is crypto night in Canada, Wednesday the 28th, 7 o'clock on the dot. And I got a belly full of gin. Hey, get Elton John. Was he before your time? Anyway, we have, my God, I don't know what we're going to call this except an organic discussion about Bitcoin versus.
As long as you don't call it an orgasmic discussion about Bitcoin versus.
And let me introduce you first of all to Joey. He is from the Canadian Bitcoiners. I saw him looking down, so I thought I'd get him right off guard. He's rolled his sleeves up for this one, ladies and gentlemen. So he's ready to rock and roll. Hey, Joey, how's it going?
Pretty good, Tim and Nancy. Good to see you guys. I was just sharing this out. I'm trying to get some eyes on this stream. I think it'll be a good time tonight. So thanks everyone for coming in.
It's going to be good. And then here comes your counterpart, Len. This is Len from the Canadian Bitcoiners as well. Welcome, Len. How are you? Thanks for coming in.
Or as I like to say, the great Canadian Bitcoiners.
Oh, man.
To keep up with Joey, I don't have any socks on.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I thought they said bathing suit, not birthday suit. So, I mean. And then we have Mr. Tim Perry. Hey, Tim, how's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
Our crypto
welcome.
guru, Tim Perry's in the house.
Konnichiwa. And first time on, Haas from Onyx Block. Welcome, Haas. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you. Doing very well.
Excellent. Excellent. So, and bringing up the rear, as always, our support team, Mr. Ryan Hemsley from the HiRye channel. So we have, well, let's see, how have we got this? Well, we've got myself in the top row. To the this side of us is the Bitcoiners, and the bottom row is sort of the altcoiners with maybe a little bit of nail polish of Bitcoin on them as well. So, we're going to go with that. And gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. We've got 31 people here, and we're 2 minutes and 42 seconds in. And Tim, shake the phone. No, I did that already. Thank you very much. For those of you who missed it, I was on the Sunday night channel with Rye, and all of a sudden I was too transparent. It was too much bubbly water, and I had forgotten to shake my pay. And and I did miss it again this week. So I'm consistent. I know.
We're gonna have to set him up with an alarm. Anyways, I just wanted to welcome some of our wonderful friends in the audience. Nelson's in the house. How's it going? Candace is here. This is great. Jason Spooner's here. This is amazing. Just going down. Oh, I think Nikki's here. Hi, Nikki. Welcome. Jordan's in the house. The Chad. This is great. This is awesome. Chris is here. Second Chris. Rye Guy's in the house too. Hi, everybody.
By the way, I just wanted to say this before it fades. Jason Spooner had a good point. Too much shaking, they say, will cause you to go blind. So maybe Tim's on the right path.
I heard that was a that's a myth. Anyways. Oh my goodness. So we got Derek and Moonbright and Jordan's here. Jimmy, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for the comment. Time changes. We've been starting to write down people's names so we know who they are behind their handle.
Well, if I could see what I was writing.
That's right. Derek's in the house. Oh my gosh. Sean's here. Journey's here. The other Sean's here. Colin. Hi everybody. So we've said hellos.
Let me just do a disclaimer, ladies and gentlemen here. And I think I speak for everyone, is that this is not financial or investment advice. This is just an organic discussion about life in the world of cryptocurrency. So I don't think I'm misrepresenting anyone that's here, but we are not professionals in this by any means. Although we like to think maybe we are, but that's just a dream, and we wake up and have to go to work.
Well, listen, I think what we should do, I want to just jump right on in here, and I'm going to throw the gauntlet down. I'm going to let the Bitcoiners sort of they said their piece, and then they disappeared last week, and sort of left the altcoiners feeling like they've got a few things to say. So
defend, not say.
No, they've got a few things to say that might help or might plead a case for some other projects. So I want to throw it out to Tim Perry or to Haas about how you feel about
We're not trying to rile us up. We just started.
Holy Toledo. 5 minutes and 42 seconds in, and we're short one host.
Well, I can leave. So what do you guys? Do you have anything to say?
Maybe the best way to get started, because I feel there are high opinions on both sides, and I think there's valid points to both of them. I think maybe it's good if me, Tim, do an opening statement, and then you guys can do an opening statement, and then we can tackle things point by point in terms of going through. So no gish galloping on different topics, just focusing on one individual thing. We'll get through that point, and then we'll move on to the next. Does that sound fair to everybody?
I think so.
Okay.
Ryan's not saying anything. Ryan, do you think that's a fair thing to do?
That's a very fair thing to do. I'm kind of on where things lined up actually with where these kind of big heads are on the screen. I'm kind of on the bottom row side here anyway, so it kind of worked out perfectly, especially with what I did today. Yeah, especially with the move I made today.
You're going to become an ETH maxi.
No. Well, that's funny enough. I'm a little bit an ETH maxi right now, but I went a little bit in on the other side today with a little bit of money. So we'll get into that. But I belong in the bottom row here.
Your Uniswap's about to blow, so
hopefully I got. Yeah.
All righty.
All right, take it away.
Tim, did you? So I'll
no,
guess.
You're better with the technicals. I've watched it.
So my big thing is when you're looking at Bitcoin, and I'm never going to argue the fact that Bitcoin is an amazing store of value, probably one of the best investment vehicles that you can have in this decade, possibly more. So there's no doubt in that. But when you look at Bitcoin, what makes Bitcoin so important? It's the blockchain technology. With blockchain technology, any blockchain tech, you're going to have the tokenization aspect of it. So there's always going to be a token part. To say blanketly that all other coins other than Bitcoin are just useless because they don't solve what Bitcoin solves, I feel is throwing the baby out with the bathwater, because I feel like there are a lot of good projects with a lot of good funding. Some are more centralized than others. Some are less centralized than others. So when you're looking at those aspects and the real world issues that they can solve, things like issues in our supply chains, peer-to-peer lending, yield farming, and many different aspects other than just what we do with rinky-dink Uniswap. A lot of what's happening right now is really the Wild West and shouldn't make a huge impression on where altcoins and cryptocurrency is going to be within the next 10 years. So that's my piece. That's my opening statement.
Love it.
All right. Who's next?
Got somebody from the top.
Yep.
I'll go next. So a lot of this noise we hear from the altcoin community, a lot of it is really just noise. It kind of reminds me of the vacuum salesman back in the day knocking on doors trying to sell us a Hoover. I have a Dyson vacuum. I don't want a Hoover or whatever it is you're trying to offer me. That being said, I'm not trying to totally dismiss the altcoin community. I do have some alts. I use that to trade on Binance. I have a bot, full disclosure, that trades shitcoins. With the full, and I'm trying to hopefully gain more Satoshis out of it, and it's working. And just today, actually, I put a small play on Ethereum. I see that it is rising. I think it's going to continue to rise, but nonetheless, it's just a tiny play. But in the end, it's going to be Bitcoin. I know what is the end game for Bitcoin. A lot of these altcoins, I have no clue what is their in the end game. I have no idea what they're trying to solve. I don't have the time even to look into it. I know what Bitcoin's all about. I'm going to continue investing in Bitcoin. I might do some small trading in the altcoins, but that's it. It's going to make up a small portion of my overall portfolio. What these altcoins present to me is just play. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm a very bad trader. I'm a better investor. That's why I work for a living. So I invest in Bitcoin, and then I trade very little in the altcoin community.
Well said.
That's really good, Len. Well, good job.
So, I mean, I don't know if Tim and Nancy are muted, but so what he just said, yeah, I'm kind of at least, just to kind of pick up the silence, I'm kind of at least started at an area where I thought even Bitcoin was absolutely ridiculous. Wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Still don't own a single dime of Bitcoin outside of little referrals, this and that, really. So I'd say nothing of Bitcoin I'm Ethereum to the freaking moon, at least until I can put a down payment on a house. That's my thing. And then I got a little bit into a special altcoin today. We'll get into that later. But I
want to hear about it.
Special altcoin today.
I want to hear about it.
Before you expose your trade. Let's hear from Tim. I just want to preface with altcoins, especially with Ryan, what you're gonna mention out. There are some shit coins. I'm fully going to admit to that. There's no question about it. But
there's more shit coins than there are actually good altcoins.
There's
coin is, and maybe we're just hitting the algorithms by saying that SHIT too much right there. But no, and that's the thing. I can agree with Len on a lot of points on Bitcoin. The analogy of the vacuum, though, I'm not so sure I agree with that, because to me, Bitcoin is that old school vacuum, or as I like to think, it's the flip phone. And now you got the iPhones and all that coming with the altcoins. Can Bitcoin scale with high transactions per second? No, it can't. Can it do messaging and stuff like this Satoshi wanted? No, it can't. Can it execute smart contracts? No, it can't. Can it run decentralized apps? No, it can't. So I give a lot of respect to Bitcoin because it's the OG. It's got all the boomers crazy, but the Zoomers I don't think are going to be raging for Bitcoin anymore. So you also look at price appreciation. Bitcoin was versing basically nothing but ideas until 2018. 2017, when the altcoin, well, we could call it a full shitcoin boom in 2017, it was all ideas, just white papers. Like, coins would go nuts because they put out a white paper. Now you have coins with actual utility. You can build NFT, you can execute NFTs, smart contracts, do all this. So I think just price appreciation wise, you're going to see, a huge migration, and you probably won't ever see Bitcoin dominance above 65% of her again, in my opinion.
Well,
what you said. Sorry,
go ahead. Yeah, no, I was, as I said to the folks that came on just before we went live here. I was watching the Canadian podcast or the Canadian Bitcoiners podcast, and I got it wrong. And they, I forget which one it was, fellas, but one of you does not have the time of day for the relevance of what Bitcoin has as its dominance out of the total market cap. That's you. Okay, Joey, I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see it as a valid thing. Len, I'll let you talk about, I think you're going to talk about Lightning, right? I saw you
Lightning and Taproot I was going to get into, but go on. I'll talk after.
Look, the thing about Bitcoin and the alts, there's nothing new except what has been forgotten. And I see stuff like NFTs, it's CryptoKitties. Smart contracts was a thing in 2017. I'm still waiting on that 2.0. All those things have centralized dev teams. I heard on Haas's channel today, or maybe it was on your channel, Tim and Nancy, about how to evaluate coin investments. I don't picture myself ever thinking about what the CEO or founders team thinks about their project as a metric to invest in or a metric to invest by. I don't want to trust somebody who's done 3, 4, 5 coins with another coin. Part of the reason that Bitcoin is so successful is because I don't want to step on your toes here, Len, but I like the vacuum analogy, but I'm going to try something a little different with the Bitcoin alt comp. I see Bitcoin as beef burgers. Okay. It's tried, tested, true. Everyone likes beef burgers. We know where they come from. And I see alts as Beyond Meat. I keep on being told by the people who sell Beyond Meat that it tastes better than beef. It's healthier than beef. It's more environmentally friendly than beef. It's the same on the barbecue. You're not gonna be able to tell the difference. And then I get it in my mouth and I want to spit it out because I can tell right away that this is not the original product. This is not the product that brings people to the table. The product that brings people to the table is Bitcoin. And the reason it brings them to the table is because it's so successful and it has been for a long time. That network effect is not easy to replicate. And worse, if any of these alts can produce a market cap greater than Bitcoin, then immediately you destroy the value prop, because if you can do it, someone else can do it after you. That's a problem for alts, and no alt can tackle that problem. If you can do it, there's always going to be something better. And so your alt will never be king. It will never be king. It has to be Bitcoin. Otherwise, everything is valueless.
I don't want any alt to be better than Bitcoin, to be honest. I love, you speak of one thing that I think is most key to crypto, that Bitcoin is the best thing ever for. It's proof of work. I don't like CEOs. I don't like people that run it. That's why I like Ravencoin, right? Ravencoin's a fork of Bitcoin. not as good code. I've already touched on that, but it evolved on Satoshi's vision, because Satoshi couldn't do exactly what she entity wanted to do in 2009. So I'm definitely all for proof of work, man. I agree with you all on that stuff. I love that Bitcoin's that, like, Bitcoin is the gateway drug. You know,
do you care to elaborate exactly what Satoshi didn't improve or didn't include in Bitcoin, and what Ravencoin is going to be doing?
That's actually so with Satoshi, and sorry to interrupt getting in here, Tim, because I have a sort of knowledge of the history of Satoshi and how that all came to be and what the true vision was. Satoshi was a liberal, not liberal. Sorry, I'm forgetting the term here. He believed in less government oversight. Libertarian. Thank you very much. So that he had plans for the blockchain to go into messaging and a bunch of other things, voting rights, making sure that people could vote within the blockchain. These are all things that are sort of happening amongst other projects, but there are things in the first iteration of Bitcoin that was left out. And we know that by when Satoshi exited, his famous exit after the split from Bitcoin to Bitcoin Cash. And we can say what we want to say about it, but ultimately Satoshi knew that Bitcoin didn't have the hash rate to continue to go forward as it was. So he was hoping that the developers would agree to increase the hash rate. That didn't happen. The blockchain forked and it went off in a different way. And again, I'm not saying that Bitcoin is bad or anything else. It's just fundamentally, it's not a finalized project from Satoshi's point of view, but regardless of what Satoshi's point of view is, because I really could care less. It all comes down to what does the code say. And Bitcoin is the best store of value. You're hands down completely right. I'm never going to argue that. I would like to tackle some things that you did talk about. So one thing with altcoins, and I get this is a thing that a lot of people have, is if you can do it, why can't somebody else do it? Well, I'm wondering, are you like a socialist or believe in socialist societies? Because ultimately this is a free market in capitalism, right? It comes down to, well, if a project can do that job or better, why shouldn't they do better in the marketplace, right? It's voting with their dollars. So ultimately, yeah, a lot of altcoins are going to die because a lot of altcoins are going to do better than them because they have a superior product. That is the marketplace of what we live in.
So what you see right now with Bitcoin is not going to be what you're going to see Bitcoin probably even next year. So essentially what we have right now is the version 2 of the major changes in Bitcoin. We had version 1, version 2 introduced SegWit, and version 3 is coming up. It's going to be introducing potentially Taproot. And if you're not familiar with Taproot, it's going to include functionality of smart contracting, potential improvements for user efficiency. It's actually going to make things a lot easier. So to improve privacy, et cetera, et cetera. So, and
it
this
starts in 400 and something blocks, I think, right? It was 420 earlier today.
So November 2021 is the last date that this can be implemented. So if indeed we have Taproot that is going to be adopted by the Bitcoin community, it's going to eat a lot of the market that the altcoins are presenting, because it's going to be able to do smart contracting. So that's a lot which you guys are saying that Bitcoin can't do. It can do. It's gonna also be doing quicker transactions, multi-sigs. So between that and also Lightning, the Lightning network, you're able to do a massive amount of transactions as opposed to what you can do today. So I understand that there are altcoins that could do transactions much quicker than Bitcoin right now, but Bitcoin right now is not what we're going to have going forward. We're going to have something different.
That about both. I mean, Joey mentioned ETH version 2. Yeah, we're waiting and it's delayed too, but I've heard Lightning Network forever. And I've been waiting on Lightning Network forever too. So the problem is with both sides is that we could be sitting here waiting and saying that it's coming, and then it just never happens.
But Lightning is already active, right?
It is.
It's active.
Yeah, absolutely.
Russell Okung is a pro football player getting paid. He's on board with Lightning Zap by Jack Mallers.
Okay.
That's on board, man. That's millions of dollars. Len and I set up a Lightning node for our podcast. We haven't put it into play yet because we have to finish up that process. But you talk about Lightning as far as like content creators. You guys are all content creators. You can get Lightning payments zapped right to your phone via the network on Sphinx Chat. That's something that Adam Curry, who's a former MTV VJ turned tech guy who does his own podcast out of Texas. that's a great use case, value for value, where you stream tiny bits of value to somebody for the content they're creating as they're creating it, as you're listening to it.
Like I said, you guys aren't going to convince me to hate Bitcoin. I'm never going to hate it.
I know.
But in terms of the Lightning Network, and again, to reiterate on what Tim was saying, it is a beaten horse. But I could say the exact same thing about what's happening with Ethereum right now and other smart contract blockchains. We know other smart contract options are coming faster than Ethereum, cheaper than Ethereum. All that you have said to me, and Len specifically, all that you have said is speculation of, well, it's coming, it's going to happen, and it's going to be better. And I agree with you, the Bitcoin in the next 10 years is going to be different, 2 years is going to be different. But fundamentally, we have cryptocurrencies and altcoins doing what Bitcoin can't right now.
What Bitcoin is right now is really just, it's a replacement for gold. That's the way I see it. I don't see it as a currency.
Totally
and just, yeah. So if you're looking at it like that, and that's the way it should be looked at in its current rendition, it's doing a fantastic job because that's what it's doing.
100%.
As a currency, it's absolutely terrible because you can't really exchange money quickly, cheaply, without using, say, Lightning or something else. Yeah. But it's not to say that this isn't going to be something that will be implemented soon. Lightning is already there. It's kind of in its beta form. It's slowly being adopted, but it is there. Taproot, this is something that still has to be decided amongst the Bitcoin community. But once it is decided, and if it's decided to go ahead with it, it's going to make a monumental jump in the way we're going to be using Bitcoin. We're going to be using it for transactional purposes. It could be done quickly. You could have then smart contracting implemented into Bitcoin. This is something that would be just revolutionary.
And not to, I don't know if I'm going way off on the debate here, but where's Journey at over there? Where's Journey? Journey, I saw him. Journey, H-bar. Obviously, Haas, you know H-bar?
Yeah, like H-bar is a different investment for me. Like H-bar,
Hashgraph, right? Like we've got Hashgraph that's going to integrate.
If you look at H-bar, right, and this is where people need to cool down and relax, especially when they're talking about a lot of projects. H-bar is great, but their governance is like LG, General Electric, like these big mammoth companies that are running this blockchain. It's going to be fantastic for what it's doing. Is it going to be the investment of the future? Well, I'm not sure. They're talking about a transfer of currency. I
meant relevance to transactions per second.
Yeah, if you're talking about transactions per second, but I'm not going to die on the transaction per second hill, and I'm not going to die on the store value.
And Lightning Network, because what's Bitcoin right now? 7 TPS?
Yeah, something like that. But it's irregardless of the reality when we're looking at the global financial structure. When you look at like a blockchain like VeChain, it's taking in thousands of data points every second to handle in all these tracking data coming through different supply chain networks. China is using it right now to validate their supply chains for goods being made the entire time. When you look at that, there's no way that Bitcoin can meet that transaction per second need. So all I'm saying is that blockchain doesn't only hold the utility of a brick of gold. It also has the utility of storing medical data, verifying certain things on the blockchain, making sure everything is above board. Eventually, we are going to have all our information being housed on the blockchain. And if you think that's going to be Bitcoin, I got a bridge to sell you.
No, and I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be all
Bitcoin's
in
not,
Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin's not going to be that.
Yeah, it's not going to be the be all and end all. You will need some other coins or other currencies or whatever to supplement it, and that's just the
question.
Bottom line.
There's people in the comments saying that it's like it's time now to start looking at alts to make money. I don't know. Is it like I think about what you're getting into with alts, and I kind of think about the pump with Doge last whatever it's been a month or 2 months now.
Today even.
Yeah, are you really going to park a significant amount of money in a coin that pumps or a token that pumps at the same time Doge does? Yeah. I don't know if that's your bag, then do it. But
no, I'd love to get on that because if we're talking about cryptocurrencies, not all altcoins are going to be built the same. So when you're referencing Doge compared to something like Polkadot, they're not even in the same realm of possibility of.
They pump at the same time. Technicals and fundies aside, they pump at the same time.
Not at all. Polkadot has never followed Doge. Everything follows Bitcoin. We know that because of the dominance. Polkadot doesn't pump with Doge.
And
I don't see the dominance as a valid metric, honestly, because none of the supplies are fixed. None of the supplies are auditable. So I don't want you to keep bringing it up then.
No. All I said is that cryptocurrencies follow Bitcoin. right? Because Bitcoin, regardless of the dominance number, I'm not talking about the dominance number as in a bad thing for Bitcoin, because it's not. The dominance number has no factor of whether or not Bitcoin is going to be good. But the altcoin market moves to Bitcoin's beat of the drum. There's no doubt about that. Nobody can say anything about that. When Elon Musk tweets about Dogecoin, Polkadot doesn't pump, Cardano doesn't pump, all these other blockchains don't pump, Dogecoin pumps, because that's where the network effect is going into. If they want to invest in a meme coin, by all means, that's up to them. It's going to increase a little bit in value. Is it going to be the best ROI in the world? Absolutely not. There's going to be definitely many other altcoins, but bringing in Dogecoin as the prime example of altcoins is really unfair, and especially in this discussion.
Does Polkadot have an unlimited supply of coins, or potentially an unlimited? No, there's a
and just to be frank, every blockchain technically, if you're talking about theoreticals, every blockchain, including Bitcoin, could theoretically have an infinite supply if everyone voted to have that code changed. Not saying it ever would, because it wouldn't. It'd be ridiculous. It wouldn't be. I know. I caught myself there.
You're close. You're close.
It
no,
would
but if
be
I look at Doge, like the way it in its current form.
Right.
I'm just gonna use that as the example, and I don't know. I can't speak about other. That's why I asked you about Polkadot. I just don't know enough about it. But so like Doge has currently an unlimited supply, so you could have an infinite amount of supply of Doge, and that's going to obviously bring down the dollar value or the value of each Doge coin. Bitcoin, you don't have that. Probably other alts, you probably have an unlimited supply. I don't know which ones they are, but the ones that do have that, those are the ones that I have issue with, because
even 100% agree with you.
And
even like how are you supposed to know if like a founder team or like an executive board or like the ETH Foundation or something similar in other coins, if they decide one day that they want to either build a project to compete with Ethereum, build a project to compete with an alt, build a project that has a different coin tokenomics, increase the token supply of that coin, you're fucked. Excuse my language. But there's nothing you can do, right?
Let me bring up an example of that, because I have a direct example, because Dr. Gavin Wood and Charles Hoskinson were both on the Ethereum project and then went over to Polkadot and Cardano to build out their own blockchains and improve on what they already built with Vitalik Buterin. So it's fundamentally they're targeting different people. They are doing the same thing in terms of smart contracts, but ultimately there's going to be plenty of room. There's billions of people in this world that are going to use these systems. So
I know, but do you think Charles Hoskinson left Ethereum to make Cardano like less valuable than Ethereum on purpose? Or do you think he tried to make it more valuable than Ethereum? Because then I got a bridge to sell you, my friend.
No. So obviously he made it to be better. So, but I'm not getting what you're saying in terms of when I have a business and somebody else wants to counteract and fight for that business and make their own business. Well, who's going to invest in who? You're going to invest in the better product, sure. I'm not saying that Charles Hoskinson is purposely making his system less valuable. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying every team wants their system to be of value. They're targeting different things. You see Charles Hoskinson moving into making peer-to-peer lending available in Africa. You don't see Vitalik Buterin doing that. They're fundamentally targeting two different people. So it's not the same thing.
Yeah, I don't agree. I don't agree with that, because I think that those guys care about their token values.
Yeah, I just said that they want their values to go up.
Right. And so my point is not that Hoskinson leaves Ethereum to make ADA and decides on the way out that he wants it to be less valuable. He wants to leave the project and make something that's less valuable. He decides on the way out, and any founder would do this, to make something that he thinks can be more successful than the project he left. And so when you have that as a sort of weakness, a fulcrum in a failure for a project, you're asking for trouble this way. And you've seen this. I think I watched on your channel today, I'm pretty sure, that this you had more faith in founders that left projects to go start something else and something else. Do you not think that's a bit?
That's kind of a bad characterization of what I said. So exactly what I said, and I was referencing the CEO of BPro, or Rory, who had worked on a lot of different Polkadot systems, being Polka markets. He consults on Polka starters. He's a big influence in the whole Polka market space, that whole thing. And now he has his own project on top of everything. I'm not saying that I would say that that's great. I've seen numerous creators that have just continued doing a pump and dump. I'm not saying that every project is going to be great. That's not at all what I'm saying. But if you want to dive deep and actually sift through all the garbage, all the shit coins, you are going to find some gems down there.
And lest we not forget, there are many other proof of work coins that don't have people running them and stuff like that.
Yeah, there are a few.
And don't get me wrong, I favor those because I agree with Satoshi's original vision.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, like you keep saying Satoshi's original vision. Like, are you like a BSV or B? I don't even know what the other folks are these days. Okay, so
that wasn't just Satoshi's original vision. I
want to put you on the Cartesian plane somewhere.
It's in the name, Satoshi Vision.
I love the mythology. I've spoken about it on Nancy and Tim's podcast. I love the story behind the origination of Bitcoin. I mean, this digital currency idea goes beyond, goes back to the 70s. And the fruition through that. And obviously where Satoshi finally said, F this, was when the 2008 crash came, right? And he did this, hopefully, or she or whatever, in rebellion to that. And I love that. And that's why I personally don't ever want to see Bitcoin go down, because whoever created it for that reason, I want that essence to stay. I
have an admission that I'm Satoshi, and that's not what I did not agree to that.
I knew it, Len. I knew it.
Okay, can we get? I need Ryan to tell me what he invested in today.
Just move just move one Satoshi from the Genesis account, and I
in time.
So Ryan, what did you invest in today? You've been silent. I'm curious about this.
Me?
I did.
Ryan. Oh well, here we go.
You're gonna hate it, buddy.
You better sit down, Joey.
You're gonna friggin' hate it because I did it. No reason.
Wait a minute.
You're gambling.
Joey, what do you think he invested in? What do you? Oh, come on.
I bet you it's a meme dog. Is it a meme dog?
It's a Shiba. No, I didn't invest in Shiba. I invested in Doge. Okay, but
I told you not to.
On my Facebook page, I was being goaded. I was just being goaded along, and I thought, okay, am I going to screw around with $1,000? Like, just throw away cash. Let's pretend I'm at the casino. Whatever. I did $1,000. So anyway, I own like 20. Yeah, Nancy, I did it. Anyway, I own 2,500 Doge coins.
Probably cheaper when you have way
more. This is the way I look at it. If I lose all my $1,000, forget it. I at least was on the party. I'm part of the train, or totally opposite. Okay, switch that up. But again, I'm on the train. I'm rocking and rolling. I'm keeping it. But again, $1,000, it's throwaway. It's a red or black type of bet. That's how I'm kind of looking at it. So we'll see. But mark my words, if it does pump on May 8th, I'm out.
Why May 8th? Why May 8th? What's May 8th?
It's just stupid Elon, the psycho there going on Saturday Night Live.
Oh my
I said he's going to dress as a Doge on that episode, and that's going to pump up the coin.
If I'm already up like $50 or $60, not that matters, but like when it comes to May 8th, if it goes up at all, I'm out. I'm on the train. I'm part of the crew. But that's it. I did $1,000 in Doge. I'm cool with it. I'm not doing Safe Moon or any of this whatever, but I got on the Shiba Doge train today. So
take your profit and dump it in BTC.
You saying not Safe Moon? You saying not Safe Moon and saying in the same sentence, but I went into Doge.
Instead.
This is the noise I'm talking about.
Any better to me?
I was getting jumped on by the Bitcoiners and the altcoiners right now.
I can't believe it.
Okay, the only reason why I would say prefer Doge though over Safe Moon, for instance, is just the fact that the adoption of Doge outside of what its value is, like, because clearly its value is defined by people buying into it, and that's basically all it has going for it. But a lot of people are buying into it, more people than Safe Moon, for instance. So I'm certainly more bullish on Doge, and now I think both are absolutely ridiculous. But I'm in the short term, I'm taking Doge and I'm taking my profits all day long. And that's just it, because I guarantee you by May 8th, I'm going to make money, and it's as simple, and I'm cashing out and I'm going to chill with that. But could I justify more than $1,000? No, even 1,000 was a stretch, to be honest, but that was
too much. I watched your channel. You're smart. This guy spends his time doing live buys, quality due diligence. He's buying airlines. He's talking about dividends. Then he comes on this channel. What's he buying? Shiba.
I was goaded. I had to.
Joey, it's like that corner pub, where they all go.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
And that's like,
but in summary,
$1,000, it's throwaway.
You need to goad him into Bitcoin.
He'll get there. He'll get there.
So
Ryan
just said he's doing this to make money, right? In the end,
all
that's what we are all trying to do. We're trying to better our lives, right?
Profit maximalist. That's right.
Yeah. So, and I don't want the Bitcoiners to lose money. In all fairness, they're going to be the safest. They're not. I'll be dead honest. They're going to make a living. But the only problem I have with just straight up investing in Bitcoin right now is someone with like $1,000, if they're willing to lose it and they're looking for those gains that the mythical markets are sometimes giving out. You know, I always tell people when they first get in, how much money do you have? And then I always say, allocate most of it to a hedge between Bitcoin and Ethereum, because you know that you're not losing your money with that. And I think, obviously, I don't know if Joey dabbles at all, but Len, you say you dabble. You're doing it to stack sats. And in the end, that's most likely what I'm kind of doing. I'm doing it to stack sats and also then just sit in digital currency like USD and earn passive income. But I mean, we all want to make money. And I think the best way is to actually take a little bit of what you guys are talking about and then take a little bit of what we're talking about. And that's probably the best combination, in truth.
I want to correct you. You said we're all in it to make money. We're all in it to make Satoshi.
Sorry, Satoshi.
Yeah, yeah.
Even
That's
on
the
that,
currency you want, right? That's the I think
like
That's
correcting it.
You're wrong. The stack sats isn't fully wrong, but I just don't see. I do see an end game to blockchain technology, as I've touched on. I don't know if you guys were still in on the conversation, but there's other things ahead, right? I used to think Hashgraph was going to compete. It's not. It's most likely getting integrated with blockchain, most likely. But I mean, quantum computing, people laugh at me, but that's something you're going to have to take serious about.
That blew my mind.
It's not as big of a deal. Actually, I
really
like to. No.
I want to ask a question.
No. I'm helping Bitcoiners and everything. The quantum is
I
not.
want to ask you a question. I want to know what you think. Do you believe that blockchain will actually be able to be fully quantum resistant to?
Yes. Yeah, without a doubt. Not even a shadow of a doubt. There's already blockchains working to be quantum resistant, and to think that those other blockchains couldn't update their code base to do the exact same thing is ridiculous. It absolutely
one. I think it's just wishful thinking.
The XX coin being developed right now by David Chaum and the XX network. He's probably the closest to your Satoshi vision. I'd highly recommend you look into David Chaum. We can talk all about it offline if you want. I can blow your mind.
Cool.
There's so many other security systems that rely on the level of available coding right now. Yep. And so as soon as you start talking about quantum, you're really like Bitcoin is one thing, but you're talking about like healthcare,
nuclear codes,
military. Everything. Yeah, like that stuff. That's never going to get broken. It can't. If it does, we're not going to be worrying about live streaming. We're not going to be worrying about.
It'll be end times. The system will be far upgraded before that. Now, I want to go back and correct something that I heard, because everyone said we're here to make money or we're here to make sats. I'm here strictly because of the blockchain technology and where that's going to take us in the next 10 to 20 years. I truly believe that this is the most transformative technology that we've seen in our lifetime. That's including the internet. I honestly believe that. What we're experiencing right now, no other generation will ever experience what we're going through over the next couple
years.
You're not
going to want to buy a house with that profit, man?
Absolutely not. There's no way I will buy a Tesla, a house, or anything with Bitcoin.
You're just going to sit in that room and
huddle.
What are you going to do with all of it?
And be rich. Huddle.
It's the first time he raised his voice. It's been like 45 minutes.
We got him riled up.
You're a rebel.
I get excited, you know.
He hasn't been shaking his Satoshi on Shakepay.
That's good, man. Like I think Len and I talked on our show about like some of the regrets we have. Maybe not regrets, but like the stuff we've invested in the last, let's say, 5 years that wasn't Bitcoin or blockchain related. And I think, Len, both of us would agree now that we're at the point with our homes, for example, where the house itself, like the physical property, is the liability. The real asset is the money you can take against it in zero interest environment to invest more, right? That's the only reason now I'd recommend people buy a house. Because if you don't buy one, like, you know, in 4 or 5 years, rates are still going to be low. We can't afford to raise them. So don't mess with the money on your house.
Very interestingly enough, not to plug my channel or anything, I just did a video on how you could take a micro cell loan by collateralizing your Bitcoin and taking a 1% loan.
I was going to tell Joey, if you want to do that, then you got to get into altcoins, bro. You got to.
I'm doing it on my house, man. I'm doing it on my house. I'm just like all the time. If I want money for something, I just take it off my house. If the rates are so low.
But Joey, imagine collateralizing because your Bitcoin. Just collateralize your Bitcoin. You get to keep your Bitcoin, get another loan, throw it more into crypto, do whatever you want, man. Like that's what I love about altcoins. In all fairness,
is that letting somebody else be custodian of your?
Yeah, sell me on that. I don't like the custodian thing. Custodian thing is not something I'm comfortable with. I've never been comfortable with it. I hold all my coin myself.
Okay, so are you the type of person that would say not your keys, not your crypto?
I have a tattoo on my lower back.
Okay,
I want to make money on this video.
I want to ask you a question.
The sleeveless shirt's enough.
When your bank holds your money, are you comfortable with that?
And I hate it now. I hate it now. Yeah,
Fair.
I mean, I do a lot of
I'll
equity
give that to
investing, and even on the equity side, like when I first started with Wealth Simple, for example, that's a service that a lot of people use now, but when we started maybe 2 or 3 years ago, wasn't quite as widely accepted as I don't know, a credible service. That worried me too. But I think the more I play with those things, and probably this is I'm probably speaking your book here more than I'm speaking mine, but the more I play with those other services, the more comfortable I get. So it's possible I may be comfortable with something like a custodial loan, for example, at some point. I'm not making any guarantees, but
yeah. I don't have like a lot of Bitcoin being held in custody. I have things on different exchanges, yield, cold wallets, warm wallets, to mainly keep my spread out in case I get hacked or something like that. But for the average person, because you're obviously a very technical guy, you know your stuff, like you know more than the average person coming into cryptocurrency. For the average individual customer coming through, they don't want to know how to do this. They don't want to learn to lose their key phrase and have millions of dollars stuck under their bed in a cold wallet that they can't get into. They don't want this added layer of complexity. They want somebody that they can pay to take care of it. And that's ultimately where we're going.
Yeah, now
are we talking about? Oh, sorry, Len, go ahead.
No, it works for a lot of people, but it just takes one government regulation to wipe it all out. We just seen it in Turkey. We saw their biggest exchange, Thodex, disappear overnight because government regulation is going to ban cryptocurrency. Was it $6 billion?
Really one to compare to the rest of the world adopting it.
Well,
though.
you don't know.
I don't know.
It's true. No, you're making a good point, Ryan. Len's making a good point too. I think here it's probably safe. But my question isn't about are they going to ban it. My question is, like you see in the States, for example, like we're all Canadians. So I think you're Canadian too, Haas. I'm not sure. But like, the Biden government today introducing a second death tax, right? Like there's a chance that you will at some point be taxed on something that's in your Bitcoin stash. Do you want that stash to be in your pocket, or do you want it to be on Blockfolio, or I just said Blockfolio, on BlockFi or the like? BlockFi is a good service. Don't get me wrong. I think it's an okay place to park crypto. They're reputable, but they'll also play ball a lot quicker than I think you would have to play ball if something like that came down the pipe. I don't know if it'll happen. And I think you're right, Ryan. Turkey, maybe not the best comp for like Canada. And
but even in Canada, we've had exchanges disappear. I know exchanges is different than custodial. But yeah, exactly that. Like, so you don't really know if you don't have your keys there. You have to have some faith that somebody else will keep it and not lose it.
Maybe this is just the newbie in me talking. I feel safer the further we get on with adoption rates. Like, honestly, because good luck screwing over one guy is one thing, screwing over 1 million guys is another, and then screwing over 500 million is another. Like, when adoption rates grow up, I feel better every friggin' day with these exchanges and then BlockFi. And for me, I mean, it sounds stupid, but honest to God, I almost feel like I don't want these keys and this and that. I just don't want it. I'm not there yet in the evolution of this crypto train. But funny enough, like tattooing it, funny enough, that's literally how I would, like, how else do you keep all this in your head? It sounds stupid, and I wouldn't get a tattoo of it. But at the same time, like, I'm just not there. I don't want to hold all this. BlockFi to me is just, I mean,
is everyone here aware what happened in 1930s with gold in the United States?
Dude, that's fundamentally a different thing, and ultimately that's a hugely different thing in terms of. So what I'd equate to what you were talking about, Len, it's more adequate to how people acted when Visa and MasterCard first came out. Nobody wanted to use it. Nobody trusted it. It was it was this thing that took a while to get public adoption. Then once it did, it really did, and that's ultimately what we're talking about. And I'm not saying that the end all is custody services. I'm not going to die on the hill. I'm a firm believer of not your keys, not your crypto. But at the same time, I'm still going to put my crypto in certain areas that I trust, that are insured, to make sure I can gain a yield out of it. Hell yeah, absolutely.
No, I'm with you. And, I always say to everybody, make sure you take your whatever you buy in an exchange, take it out, put in a secure wallet or whatever. But even I still leave a small amount on Binance to trade. So, I mean, I may say one thing, but in the end, if you have a small amount that you're willing to do, like custodial service or whatever, that's fine. As long as you're willing to accept the risk that comes along with it, just be concerned, because again, I go back to, we talked about the 1930s gold. They could take it away from, with laws and legislation, they could take everything away that they want to take away from us. As long as you hold your keys, it's hard to do so.
So what do you think about Pirate Coin then? Something like that, where it's going to keep everything.
Oh my God, we got a guy in our chat talking about that.
Again.
I just before we go on. just before you go on, I just have to make sure that Ryan isn't going to go and buy a cold wallet for his Dogecoin. Just
can you even store? Can you store Doge on a cold wallet?
Oh yeah, you can. Oh yeah, you can.
Oh yeah. So,
yeah, sorry, Tim. Go ahead.
Go, Tim.
I really agree with Len on that. Like, because I think our very first episode we ever did with me, the number one rule for people in crypto was safety. Not your keys, not your coins. Like, I went through that, like making sure just today I saw, obviously I don't know the guy, but on the Twitter handle, some guy had 400,000 hacked from his MetaMask because he had his password on his Google iCloud or whatever, So I'm sorry, like if you want to be your own bank and you're willing to take the responsibility of getting into crypto, like just write it down on a notepad and store it in 3 different spots. Like how hard is it? And obviously, Joey, don't let your girlfriend take a picture of your back, right? Like,
good, he's married to that girlfriend.
He's married.
Yeah, man, that's a whole other story. The continuity plan. Like here's how you use the cold wallet. That's a heck of a conversation we had. I'm still working on that one.
And for all you altcoiners, I'm going to be releasing the Kim Jong-un coin next week. So I want all the people to jump on board. It's going to be released on Binance. It's going to be a wonderful coin. So come on board.
No.
In terms of altcoins, my number one question is always going to be what issue is this solving? Like, what is this blockchain doing that's going to?
Good question.
And that's always it, right? Because like Ryan, I'm so sorry, buddy. You're a great guy and everything.
I'll tell you what it solves for me.
Damn,
Okay,
man.
this is a fantastic question because I don't buy stocks like this. I don't buy anything like this. Okay. What Doge solves for me is a very quick gain by, I think, May 15th tops, and I'm out. Like,
Listen,
I'm not
man,
buying
if you want
Doge
better
to rock and
gains,
roll.
if you want better gains in the shorter time, or like you can yield farm with that $1,000 right now, and I can guarantee you a profit.
Haas, you're a really smart guy. Better gains versus research involved. I don't think so, because the amount of time I'd have to put into it in order to understand what you're getting at with altcoins, I couldn't make a better return, in my opinion, outside of this little stupid thing. Now, would I recommend anyone buy Doge? No, I essentially put my money on black, and it can come up red or black. Who knows? Again, guys, casinos
and it's your money.
But this is, well, I mean, it's $1,000. Like, I don't know enough about altcoins to really speak about it, other than that I think they're all, for the most part, a little bit BS. And you guys know, especially Tim Perry, I'm kind of getting into it more and more. Dogecoin is simply a roll of the dice. That's why I was kind of playing with my viewers. Again, Candace, one of my viewers, egged me on today. But again, I decided, screw it. $1,000. It's over. And you know what? I'm already up. By May 8th, I'm certain I'm going to have a little bit of a push. I'm taking my money back and I'm going back in the dividends and yada, yada, yada. But
it's trends. There's nothing. I mean, the truth was
that's all I'm riding right now is a trend.
The meme coin trend ran. I didn't touch it because I'm probably like Haas and Len and Joe. Well, Len and Joey obviously far stricter, but like I don't touch stuff if I number one use case. If there's no utility to it, I don't want to go near it.
What freaks me out about this is that I think that my $1,000 in Doge is retarded, or okay, really bad word. That is one word we're never going to use here ever again.
No.
I think I have my best. Well, maybe I'm acting really, really stupid. Okay, I think we're going to be okay on that. I think my Doge investment was stupid, but I will say this again: it's a gamble for me. The only thing that I just don't understand about Doge is the adoption rate that it's having among celebrities and like big figures. That's what I'm not understanding is like when the psycho, when Mark Cuban was on Ellen or whatever yesterday, I think it was. And he's like, even if Doge goes to nothing, I'm still going to accept it for Mavericks merchandise. What does he know that we don't know? Why would he be still accepting? Like there's something that's like, I don't get about this coin.
Can Elon really be that reckless? Like it just,
he has been, dude. He tweeted last night, he's a Doge father. And
I follow him on Twitter. I think it's stupid. Like Cuban obviously added it to his Maverick game. So it's like, is there a plan?
I don't get it. That's the thing. I don't know. But for anyone who's thinking that this was a serious investment in the HiRye community, this was a red or black roll the dice. Let's see what I get. I'm thinking I'm going to get a little bit of money, maybe $100, $200, go to dinner, do whatever the heck I want. But I'm not going to be no Doge millionaire. And if I lose my 1,000, I lose my 1,000.
I will say, for my opinion on this, I would say that Mark Cuban is gamifying his experience. That's what he's doing. This is a marketing genius move. He's going on a trend. He's making himself he's putting himself into the community in a big way. And he's just gamifying. It's marketing genius, really.
But
yeah, 100%. He's taking this and he's using his name to pump it up, and then behind our backs he's probably selling it without telling us. So yeah, I totally agree with you 100%.
Well, look at Elon. He just sell a whole bunch of his Bitcoin, and we thought he was going to be the MicroStrategy.
Okay.
No,
Tesla's a Ponzi scheme. Tesla's a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, Elon sold no Bitcoin. Tesla liquidated a little bit of Bitcoin for the liquidity process. And quite honestly, I actually think that helped Bitcoin. It helped legitimize it with respect to big cap owners. So honestly, I think that 10% liquidation, although looked at as a negative thing, was probably in the long term one of the better things to happen. It proves liquidity and allows businesses now to prove themselves that a $1 billion investment's not lost. Elon just sold 10%, snapping his fingers. If anything, that was probably the best thing, even though it had a little bit of a negative result. That was probably the best thing on a long-term basis that Elon could have done. That was the less psycho thing he's done all week. Was honestly,
I completely agree, and I'm going to have a lot of people are going to hate me for this. But I'll start with the part that people are going to love. So, like, you always got to be careful. Okay, so first off, I'm going to start with the bad part. Elon Musk has gone downhill over the last couple of years. I love what he did with SpaceX. Amazing. Ever since the whole SEC fiasco about his tweet with 420 Tesla stock, it's been downhill from there. The investors know it. Everyone's seen it in terms of how social interaction in Twitter really hurts the company in a lot of ways. I'm bullish Tesla. I'm bullish long-term on where that's going. But with Elon tweeting out all this garbage and then pumping up Doge, it's not fundamentally.
Okay, well, this is the hilarious thing, just because I'm more on the stock side of things. I don't own Tesla at the moment. I've got a horror story about it where I could have gained a lot, but I screwed up and sold too early. But with Tesla, they just doubled their earnings per share, okay? Their revenue is down slightly based on projections, but over the last year, the revenue's doubled, okay? And then Haas
they haven't made revenue once for how many years? Right,
it's carbon credits.
But carbon credits. Yeah, but compared with the Tesla chart, though, like I'm not going to compare Tesla's pricing now to where Tesla was last year pre-split and going into $50. It's a totally different scenario. Like we have a new president with a new green agenda entirely. There's a brand new environment. So I'm not even going to look at that. I will say though, in the last year, Tesla has, honest to God, it's Tesla. There's some YouTuber said it. It's the greatest ETF you could possibly own. In the sense that it's solar, it's EVs. You got the Boring Company. You don't have SpaceX into it, but it's the most exciting adventure in the stock market. But at the same time, what Tesla's doing, or not Tesla, I associate one with the same, but with what Elon's doing online is probably, I talk about it on Tim and Nancy's channel. It ticks me off. I talk about it on my channel. He's like the biggest psychopath known to man. And right now I'm betting on that psychopath to keep being a total psycho online because I'm going to keep making money on it. So that's the only thing I have right now with Tesla. I love Tesla, but to compare Tesla last year to this year, given the shift in one political environment alone, made people just $1 bajillion betting on it. And that's the same with every election. If you just gamble if you invest just prior to election dates alone, you can make a lot of money. So the environment has shifted entirely. I can't even look at Tesla pre-split versus Tesla now. And then you go over their EPS revenue. No, not even comparable, different environment. Tesla chart is more comparable to a crypto chart, like honestly, because it doesn't even make any sense. You can't tell a new high, but there's ups and downs all the time that make no sense. And when you have someone so deep in social media, everything's gone.
With that kind of volatility in equities,
like 1,200, like it doesn't make sense.
But with that kind of volatility in equities, do you feel that that's a healthy move that a stock should be making?
Honest to gosh, with respect to where the market is and what Tesla is doing in the market, I'm not invested in it at the moment. I would be, okay? But I do, honest to God, believe that if you bought Tesla right now, in 10 years, you're a winner. So, yeah, I would buy.
You're giving the 10 years, sure, but
I'm a long-term investor. I don't day trade too much, but
I agree with you. But most people are coming in to the market right now and talking about short-term. And if you look at a lot of
those are weak investors, buddy.
Well, if you're talking about a lot of people talking about strategy over the next little while, it depends on like what your perception is on the U.S. equities right now in the U.S. stock market and how inflated that is to equities being divvied out to companies to be able to reinvest into the stock market. So that has an added complexity of why the stock is pumping, but we see it with a lot of other tech stocks. You see BNB going way over their value of anything. Hold on. So, but with Tesla, there's a lot of really good analysts talking about how Tesla is potentially going to be on the downturn. Michael Burry is one of them.
Okay, Michael, that's a perfect. Okay, I'm really glad that you brought that up. Are we talking about buy points or are we talking about long-term investment? There's two totally different things. Because at the end of the day, is it the buy point opportunity of the lifetime right now? Heck, no. I mean, there's a crash coming. It's inevitable. There's going to be a correction or a bear market at the very least. We're not talking, or I'm not, maybe I miscommunicated. I'm not talking buy point opportunity. I'm talking pure long-term longevity. Tesla's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer with respect to the control that they have over. It's more the software in their vehicles than it is the vehicles. And their software alone is so far ahead of everybody else. The leasing opportunities alone are through the roof. Then you get into solar. Then you get into, well, for instance, even just the Boring Company, one in Vegas and now breaching to LA. The opportunities to conglomerate all of these things, again, it's the most exciting investment opportunity. But if we're talking about a buy-in point, dude, I'm probably more on your side that I'm not buying into Tesla for a specific reason. I'll be waiting a little bit, but I mean, if we're talking 10 years, I'm on board all day.
Everything about that. Sorry.
Our audience is starting to get a little. What is this? Stock night in Canada?
Tesla night in Canada. Okay, let me ask you guys this.
Go ahead, Joey.
If this is a crypto show, if we want to talk about ETFs for a space, how do you feel about the Coinbase IPO? Are you guys buying that? Did any of you buy that?
Nope.
No. Len, did you buy that?
I will be once it gets under 200. Sorry, once it gets under 300 and stays there. I know it briefly got under, but I want to make sure it goes a little bit lower.
Yeah, IPOs are insane right now. It's not even worth touching.
Well, same with IDOs and crypto, man. You don't touch that shit. Len's probably got his bot buying it right at the bottom.
Right now.
I envy his bot. I've been looking on the dark web for get me in on a bot for a while.
Hit me up.
I do
I'll
like
give you information.
crypto exposure in terms of like PayPal and whatnot, like getting services, good stocks that use crypto. I absolutely get them. As soon as Coinbase, like Len said, as soon as Coinbase is at a price that I can stomach, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to load some up.
Yeah. Coin, I think is a good, if you want to capture some of the, like the alt or like the crypto bags that I don't have personally the stomach for, like the stuff you guys are in, I'm sure a couple of days a week or a couple hours a day, whatever. Like I won't do it, but Coinbase for me, and probably for a lot of people who are a little more conservative, like that's a decent defensive play to capture a lot of the value.
Can I ask you guys a question, by the way? Because the four of you guys know a hell of a lot more than I do with respect. Well, in this space, especially with Coinbase. Why like WTF? What is with the IPO though at the price valuation that it's at? That's where I'm not understanding. That I can't get into it. Like, what's with the price valuation? I don't get that. Like, can you guys? And maybe now I don't want to get into stocks, but we're talking about or Coinbase, okay? But like, why did you say, by the way, 300, Len, for instance? Because even that seems excessive to me.
You made it up.
It's just a number in my head. I mean, it's more than anything. It's just something that I feel comfortable buying in. You know, when the IPO was first released, what was it, around 350 when it first came out, and then it spiked to over 400, and then it settled down to like 320, and then slowly to under 300. I'm just trying to compare this to other IPOs in the past, and it's kind of following the same trend. And once it gets to a point where I think it's going to be like, near where the bottom should be, that's when I'm going to jump in. Although I may miss that boat, it may just start climbing, and I may not jump on board by the time.
Is Coinbase the biggest thing I've never heard? Like, I've heard of Coinbase, but is it the bibiggest friggin' thing in the world or what? Because
they have the highest fee capture for sure. Like they I think on my other show that I'm on a break right now for COVID, we talked about how they have like their capture is something like 1,000 times higher than what you would expect to see in like a derivatives market. So per transaction, per user, it's so much higher. Now that's also a point where they could fail because like we talked about earlier, if someone comes along and does it better, then that's a problem for them. Now, I think if you're buying the Coinbase IPO, at least if you're me, I'm looking at them and I see, okay, they have regulatory influence. They can build the moat to get you and your token into the exchange world. And they can also build the bridge for you to get over that moat, the legal and KYC and AML and all that stuff that's required of you to become a tradable token, especially in the United States now. So to me, that business, they build the bridge over the moat that they also helped build. And then they get shipped finished products over and over and over again and just capture on fees. I think they'll start into banking and stuff too at some point. Like I can't imagine they're going to stop at crypto. So many people have that app now that they'd be nuts to stop there.
Well, the one thing that Coinbase does, they onboard the institutions to actually buy Bitcoin or whatever. So they have like their own division that actually does that, and that's
Massive
a huge
OTC desk.
And I have a chart that I'm building with all the different cryptocurrencies. Sorry, all the different exchanges that sell cryptocurrencies, and their fees are astronomical in comparison to other ones. Why anyone would want to buy it straight from Coinbase, it's beyond me. But if you ask anybody on the street that has, even passing knowledge of cryptocurrency and ask them where they could buy anything, they would probably think 9 out of 10 times Coinbase. And so that's why it just seems to be a winning model to actually get people in the crypto market, and that's why the value is so high. Like
that first market thing.
Yeah,
first mover.
First to market.
Yeah, it's funny because Twin World, which we know is Sean, said that he doesn't know why anybody would use Coinbase, but I think you hit the head, the nail on the head, Len, because that's what people know. And if you were starting in this realm, and we all know that there's so many people that talk about it and they're interested, they don't know where to go and they don't know what to do. The first thing they're going to do is go to Coinbase because that's what they've heard, and so you're right, but it is the most expensive platform.
One thing Coinbase offers, they offer a lot of coins. I was very surprised because I'm in the spreadsheet I'm building, I'm trying to see who sells what, and Coinbase is almost like Binance-like in terms of how many coins that they sell.
Pumps too from the list. It acts like like if you list on Binance now or Coinbase, the coin jumps automatically.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to touch on something because you guys brought it up. Biden's speech going to drop crypto tonight. I'm
yes.
Sure Joey, Len, everybody basically on this panel likes to look at charts and tries to think that they're good at charts. And I can admit that I usually am not. But I'm sick and tired of like so many people going, this dropped Bitcoin, this did this. Like Tim and Nancy, I'm actually on a hot streak for the first time in my life for charting. I said Bitcoin was going to drop to 48K, bounce back up, alts were going to run after this, And when it dropped, that news came out, I think, about the taxes in the States.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, that caused it. I'm like, man, I've been calling this drop for like the last week. I'm sick and tired of everyone thinking that just something causes this huge crash, when really, if you're a chartist, you usually see that was in the charts anyways.
Yeah. If you like technicals, like you can play crypto, you can do crypto on 20 and 50 moving average almost invariably across almost every coin.
You're above my skill level already, man. I see head and shoulders invert,
that's the same thing, same like level of technicals. Like I don't look at head and shoulders and like that, but I mean, it's pretty, I don't want to say predictable, because if it was that predictable, I'd be rich, but you can definitely at least buy at the right time most of the time.
Lunar Crush. I like with crypto, at least social analytics. And I know you guys aren't big in altcoins, but man, like I can just see how much tweets are starting to rise in a coin that are spiking, and I can just follow that trend and make a quick pump. Now, mind you, I'm in and out. I'm staying the night. I'm not dating that thing. But
now, Tim, what I can say is with these charts, if you could like draw something and it looks remotely like a rocket ship, buy.
No, but honestly, guys, as like an actual question and I'm curious for Haas, Joey, Len, and Tim, like what time frame are you using on your charts? Stocks is one thing. I'm finding crypto tends to be a little bit tighter. What time frame are you using if you're actually trying to draw your retracements and find your patterns?
Really depends on like what you're looking for. Like, are you talking short term? Are you talking long term? Like, I would never like.
Well, that's the thing, because I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm trying to judge, for instance, let's say Ethereum, but if you have a new high every single day, where am I? Like, I'm lost in space.
Are you talking about like changing like 1 hour to 4 hour to day chart to like, is that what you're talking about, or are you talking about a different time?
I'm kind of using like the 1 day, maybe 1 week chart to at least test a retracement. But then again, every time it blows a resistance level, I'm out to lunch. So I'm just like, do you guys have a time frame? I know you were mentioning moving averages. What are you guys using? Because every single friggin' time frame I'm using, every time I do a retracement, it's blowing out of it. I got to restart every damn time until it comes back down again. And at the same time, the momentum is clearly indicating upward trend. So I'm almost wondering, are my efforts just going to nothing right now because momentum just won't stop?
You can't chart parabolic.
Sorry?
You can't chart parabolic like Aave. No. When I was in Aave, I bought Aave at 1.2 cents and it went to 75 cents. And all my buddies who are way better at charts than me were like, oh, it's there's the head and shoulders, there's this. I'm like, but dude, like when shit's hot, you can't stop it. Like, all that stuff.
Here's the thing about technical analysis. At the end of the day, it is astrology for men. Nobody can really argue that point. Like there is things that we can use. There are useful models in it, but we really don't know what the next turn is going to be in the charts.
Men would rather watch charts and talk about lines than go to therapy.
100%. 100%.
I love that.
Good
I
Lord.
love that you say that. That is amazing.
What about, I don't, like Ryan, I don't look at, I know you have, I think you use bands on your channel, right, Ryan?
I use what, sorry?
Do you use Bollinger Bands on your channel?
Among 3 or 4 others, Bollinger Bands are like a very low-key overbought, oversold indicator, but yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Like I don't use bands. I can draw like an easy like wedge or ascending chart, like any of those like easy chart patterns you draw with lines. I don't try and time tops. I only add more on what I think is going to be bottoms or close to bottoms. There's no point in trying to time tops with this stuff. Like Tim and Haas were saying, if it's rocket ship, then just whatever, enjoy the ride, right? But you're not going to try and sell. Yeah, like you're not going to try and sell it. You're just staying in.
Oh my gosh, we're quiet for a second. Everybody's thinking about this.
Well, Gotta get my
thinking
breath
about
here.
their astrology.
What happened?
Tim and Nancy know what, like, I just had my best 2 weeks ever, I think, of all time. But like regarding chart wise, I mean, I was watching Matic / Polygon for a while, and I took a look at the chart, man, and the monthly was just screamed accumulation and ready to go.
I would say, Tim, I'm curious what your perception of this would be, because I feel like I'm the only one that's going to be in the zone. I'm probably more in line with Joey and Len at this point in terms of what I do with my altcoins. I hodl 90% of my coins. I rarely trade ever.
Me too. Yeah, but sometimes when opportunity knocks, man. So I've been messing around on the Matic chain or the Matic network for a while. I've mentioned router protocol. So I was just seeing like this seamless bridge. I was doing a lot of arbitrary opportunities. Switching from Matic chain over to the Matic network over to Ethereum. I was like, man, this is like gonna pick up big. And then Aave does an integration with them and they started this liquidity mining over the last couple of days. And I'm just going, whoa, this is way too hot. Then I look at the chart and I see a month sitting at 40 cents and it dips down to 30. I won't lie, I did one of the most degenerate things I've done in a long time, man. I took 80% of my hodl portfolio. We're talking close to 6 figures.
No, stop.
Yeah. And I threw it into Matic.
Don't do it.
Well,
Don't do it.
It's too late. I threw it in at 30 cents. We're encroaching at 85. I took out profits. I have far more now, Union and everything else that I had sold. But I just knew an opportunity when I saw it. I see a layer two trend coming right now.
Yeah.
Are you on Wall Street Bets?
Yeah, are you Roy Kitty?
Are you on Wall Street Bets?
Dude, I live on the edge sometimes, man. I don't advocate doing, like, I preach people like you should do, and I don't live by that rule at all.
What do you guys do to protect your profits? Like as altcoiners, like me and Len, I don't have that struggle. I buy Bitcoin and I buy like equities, but I don't have like a YOLO bag. So what do you guys do when your YOLO bag rips? What do you do to protect it?
I go into stable coins and I start earning passive income. Like
stable coins. Okay.
I'll start lending. For instance, I'm in a stable coin right now that's I'm locked though for a year, and I get 40% APY on it.
I still, Tim, don't understand this 40% BS, dude. I don't get it.
Here is how that's doable and how the whole. Okay, this is what people aren't understanding.
Doable. It's just not sustainable.
No, it is. It is.
You're strengthening the network.
Here's the thing. No. Strengthening the network out of it. Think about what the banks are doing right now with all your money that you. Sorry, I dropped something. Think about what the banks are doing with all your money that you put into your bank. They're loaning it out to other leveraging institutions, exchanges, and everything else. It's exactly what a lot of these DeFi lenders are doing when you're putting your Bitcoin
system.
Yeah, sure. But either way, it's getting a yield out of your deposit. So the difference is the banks aren't giving you anything out of what they fractionally reserve.
Again, guys, you're going to have to give me a little bit of credit in that you guys are 10 times more advanced than me on this page. But on the stock side of things, the exact same reason why I wouldn't get into a dividend stock that has a ridiculous yield, I don't want to get into an altcoin that has a ridiculous yield. I mean, there's issues with it on underlying, whether it could change.
But if the yield is sustainable and possible, would you get into it?
Sorry?
If the yield was sustainable and possible, and everyone's making money, inclling the people.
But how can we know that though? That's my only.
How can this be true? Most of the time when this happens, it's like Charles Ponzi, rolls over in his grave, right? He's like, "Nice job, boys, on this." Like, I need to know like how 40% APY is like bonkers. That's
First off, I don't know
Man,
anything about the
that's
40%. So that's
Tim is in his dark room. He's like, it's 40%. Trust me, 40%.
Farming, I got some farming for 1,500%, and obviously those are the degenerates who don't stay in for long.
So yeah,
okay, so you don't know if that's going to continue though, right? That
It won't.
1,500. You're
It
just
won't.
assuming.
No, it won't.
Okay.
When you're looking at farming,
and don't go to it, but I'm making a lot of money doing it. So
Okay.
when you're looking at farming, you're putting up your money. So hypothetically, let's talk about Uniswap. If you're putting up ETH and wrapped Bitcoin, for example, lending that out to the Uniswap platform to trade amongst. So you're basically joining a big pool of ETH and wrapped Bitcoin that people are using to trade on Uniswap. And you're getting a piece of that fee. That fee is going into your yield. That's exactly how all that works. The prices are strictly because of what yield is being provided by the fees. That's exactly how that works.
So it's a fee a fee network basically where you're
Every time
providing, I
somebody
guess,
trades,
what, liquidity.
yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Exactly.
it's LP.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The one thing
They're
I take away out
liquidity
of this whole
provider, that's it.
discussion here is I'm going to invest in Doge. I'm going to YOLO in
Oh,
Matic, and I'm going to just
Jesus.
No.
I heard 80% of the YOLO, or
Oh.
80% of your HODL bag goes into Doge, and then off
There he
you
is.
go.
I mean, basically,
Who's this new entrant?
I'm following
This is-
trends. Like Haas would know. Like there was a Uniswap season when Uniswap first came out in last August. I was super late to that party. There was millionaires made over every coin that listed. So then Binance Chain comes out a few months ago, and the same thing happened. So I just saw the same thing happening. I also went into it's called Quick Swap. I do not recommend getting into it right now, but I got into it the other day, and I'm already up 4x because I knew what was going to happen in the trend and the pattern. I'm only in it for about 2 to 3 weeks though, and then I'll go back to my hodls and stuff like this. Twin World asked me, and this goes on what Joey kind of elaborated to me. Twin Worlds, why would you get into a stable coin that only does 40%? Because like Joey said, I don't want to lose all my money because, you will get burned if you play enough of these coins. I won't deny that. And I have. And luckily, I'm way up more than I'm down. But I want to, if hell went to in a handbag, I want to either A, have my money back in Bitcoin and Ethereum, or at least a stable coin in case there's volatility all across the markets.
What's the ETH community saying about the BNB stands talking about flipping ETH in terms of sort of usefulness and market cap and all these sort of metrics? Like what is the stance of the ETH crowd on that? I have no idea, but I see it on Twitter.
Taxi, but the one thing, just like I agree with you guys, I love proof of work more than anything. I don't want a CEO running my big investments, so that's why I love Bitcoin. Same with ETH. ETH is far more decentralized than the Binance chain. So I think, yes, there's room for everybody right now, but ETH will at least be standing the test of time for now because of the decentralization. And that's why Matic, which is a layer 2 solution to it, is going to have a good run, especially as ETH goes up right now.
Yeah. To answer your specific question, Joey, because a lot of people are asking the same thing, like why is like this whole swap? Because we see Pancake Swap all of a sudden being the #1 DEX, right? And you see a name like Pancake, and it's not like given like a great name for everyone, right?
No.
But it ultimately is a faster decentralized exchange, and the fees are much less, which is the core reason why, because Uniswap has a bulk of the trading pairs that people want to get into. But Pancake Swap allows you to trade a good amount of those pairs, I think like 400 different pairs, with like 12-cent transaction fees over $60. It's strictly economics here. It has nothing to do with how the system is. The fact that it's called Pancake Swap has nothing to do with it. They're looking for a better alternative than Uniswap, which is what Pancake Swap provides, right? So that's just to say how early the market is and how much room there is for other projects to improve on what's already been put out and take market capitalization from them.
And Haas, I mean, wait till cross-chain swaps come in, right?
Yeah, well, it's going to be big once we have interoperability between blockchains anyway. But like a big, like the one blockchain that I'm most bullish on for that is probably Polkadot.
Agree. Okay.
Is that atomic swaps? Is that synonymous with atomic swaps? What you're talking about there?
Yeah, essentially, yeah, basically. I'm right.
Okay.
Sorry, Joe, you don't know you're a Bitcoin guy. It's essentially you go on something like Uniswap, and you can trade I can trade my Aave for something else, and it just does everything for it. And obviously you have locked liquidity, and you can also provide LP, right? So like Haas was saying, you do a 50-50. You say, I want to do Aave. I'll do half Aave, half USDT or USDC, whatever. And then I earn passive income by providing liquidity in a decentralized exchange.
Can I just interrupt here? Just
When you suffer a permanent loss.
we've had the addition of Mr. The Coin Chaser below. That's Neil.
Oh.
And welcome, Neil. Sorry for that. Just feel free to jump in wherever you want. It's fairly mild right now, so the water's warm.
You know what? I'm just listening and learning, right? Like, so, you know, I'm still relatively new. You know, my plan when I hopefully run into profits is to start putting it into, you know, the big two. But right now, I'm probably going to be a little bit more risky and try and put it into other things I think are going to run. And I thought I invested in a protocol I liked, and it actually dropped. And I don't want to get rid of it because I believe in it. But I think I'm really learning right now. Like, sometimes I just got to, you know, cut my losses and come back to it. So
I'd have to admit that 80% of our crypto portfolio is in the big two. And I've always
wrong with that.
no, and I have
it.
always been of the opinion that the altcoins is my way to make the money to make my big two bigger, because the BTC at this age in life for me, for our life, is our retirement.
I will say easily, that hands down, without a shadow of a doubt, the best thing that anyone in like viewing this right now, the best thing you can do for your financial future is stack sats, easily.
But
Yeah.
eventually you have to end up back in the top two for sure. But in my opinion, if you're looking for that generational wealth making right now, unfortunately, I feel like we missed the bus on Bitcoin. But obviously, you still want to end up there. You know, I'm looking still for a couple hundred X's. You know that I've. You know, and once you taste them, unfortunately, it's an addiction, and that's where you can lose money sometimes.
We got
Bitcoin,
a lot of time.
Bitcoin 20x from like the March lows, right? Like I think Bitcoin was I mean, the COVID low is one thing, but the March, even the year before, it was 2019 or 2018. I think it was like $3,500 for a while. So I mean, you may not get. You're right. You may not get like the 200x or 300x or you know, the woman of the night altcoin rip, but. You can still be very successful, I think.
And in all fairness, absolutely. You just said both of you guys have full-time jobs, right?
Yeah.
You don't have time to mess around. You don't want to be stressed out about that. So anyone who I have that anytime advises me on that stuff, for the most part, I'm telling them hedge, keep a lot in your Bitcoin and your Ethereum, because then you can sleep well at night.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. Hey guys, we're 1 hour and 17 minutes in. We've got 80 people watching the live stream tonight. This is amazing. 81. And just for all of you that are joining us or have just tuned in, wanted just to run through the crew we've got here tonight. So along the top row, we've got Joey in the middle and Len on the end. They're from the Canadian Bitcoiners channel, the Great Canadian Bitcoiners. And then down below us is obviously our dear buddy, friend, confidant, and he gets up to a lot of mischief with us, buying some Dogecoin, is Ryan Hemsley from the HiRye channel, and then our new friend Haas from Onyx Block. He has been one of the folks that I've been watching for a while to make our purchasing decisions. And then he's in the middle square. Then we've got over on underneath Len is Tim Perry, who is our crypto guru and a dear friend. And then below him is the coin chaser, Neil. Welcome, Neil. You're a little late to the party, but that's okay. I know that everybody has been patiently watching the debate, and I think we've come to a really, really cool place in all of this. And I thought maybe we would open it up to some questions from our community, because they've all got different projects that they're interested in, and they always have some thoughts and want to know about the NFT space. So we didn't even get into the NFTs with the Bitcoiners. I'm scared to even mention that word, honestly. But that is obviously why we brought the coin chaser in, because that's sort of, he loves the NFT projects. But Verena is talking about Omi. Let's start with Verena. She's a constant member of the community. So Verena says Omi will be big one day. And there was a few other comments about Omi up in the chats. I know that we like the Omi project too. So any big news there, Neil?
There was a tweet today that I saw that was from the conference. Apparently they're having one the other day or today, and there was a picture of Marshawn Lynch in the VV store as an Oakland Raider. So it looks like the NFL is going to be jumping on board pretty soon, which is like, that's huge. Like that's the biggest league in North America, right?
They already were though.
Yeah, but this is like it's going to be official, right? And that's kind of what I think everyone's waiting for.
It was just the Players Association, though. It's not the actual NFL.
Yes, but it's a good sign that they've already got the project coming. Yeah, and I think it's just showing that like there's a lot more to come. I think they got a lot of kinks to work out.
Right.
I was hoping that things would move faster with it, but to be honest, it's like I said the last couple of weeks. Like this is more of a 2022 coin for me. Like I've already kind of put that one away. I think it's got a lot of long term, but I don't think I'm going to be playing that coin in this market or anything. Like it's weird. Like that was one of the first things I bought, and I don't think I'm going to touch it for a while. I just think it has a lot of potential.
What with something that comes to mind is that we know sooner or later the courtship ends with all of the pricing going up and the gains going up with whether it be the Bitcoin, whether it be the ETH, whether it be the altcoins. It's gonna come to an end at some point in time. And I think, is it a fair statement to say that perhaps most of the altcoin holders are going to realize it, get out, take their money and run? Do you think, well, take their profits. Do you think that will be the same case or a smart move on the people who own the ETH and the Bitcoin?
I don't know if anyone's got
I'm just wondering because it's so tempting.
This is obviously, I mean, we all got our own opinions. My opinion is that, and I know Joey doesn't like the term dominance, and I don't mean that dominance dropping is going to affect Bitcoin's price. Bitcoin will still go to probably $1 million. But what I mean by dominance is when the dominance drops, that tide when Bitcoin goes up and down and takes everything else with it, like, you know, everything drops 50% when Bitcoin drops just 10. That will be absorbed more as the dominance drops. You saw it kind of in 2017 a bit. So Bitcoin, like I said, was it owned the market forever. You had nothing but ideas, but now you have all these real world use cases for some coins. And you've seen the dominance go from like 95% back in 2017. It dropped to 30, and then it's gone as high as 75 again. I think as the market matures and these products start, winning over people, it will take some form of the dominance. And I could expect to see a Bitcoin, this is my opinion, sit around 25% dominance. And then ETH will take up probably close to 20, if not a little more. And then alts will have that. And then Bitcoin will still affect other coins. Just the absorption won't be as ugly when Bitcoin decides to move violently up or down.
I have a question. I've been wanting to ask this for a minute. Haas, Tim, Len, and Joey, and Neil, you can all, and you, there's too many of us here. It's a Brady Bunch. Thanks. All of you guys. But honestly, because I don't own any Bitcoin right now, I'm more the short term, just hopping on the Ethereum train. I will get into Bitcoin though. Do you suggest cold wallets? Now, the only reason I ask that honestly is just because with my exchanges and all of the security I've been looking up with the exchanges, the ones that tend to do better and the ones that are bigger have more of their storage in cold wallets. For instance, the brand new one, I'm not going to plug it here on my channel, but the new one I'm using where I bought the Shiba, okay, that it stores 95% though on cold wallets. And then they have that new Ledger, right? Like, do you guys honestly put more value in it? And as a newbie here, and I'm representing the newbies in the comment section, is that cold wallet better, honestly? In your opinion, all four of you.
It has to be up to you, completely up to you. It has to be up to your skill set. Like if you're 65 years old, you're probably not going to want to learn how to use a lot of different technologies. So you're probably going to be happier with something like Coinbase, right? It really just depends on you. But also like spreading out your different risk, having some on cold wallets is going to be good. It's going to be like having the brick of gold in your safe in your house. That's the
weird thing is, like, I've always been, for instance, I don't like buying into mines, but I own a lot of silver and gold because I like holding it in my hands like a friggin' pirate. I don't know what it is. As a young guy, I just liked holding it in my hands, all the coins and the way it sounds, whatever. But, like, is there something to be said, though? Well, you just said it. It's more if you don't want to get technology-wise. I meant more like, or get too deep in the technology. I meant more like safety-wise, Haas. Like, do you see any safety differences, dude, or...
Depending on the services that I use, like Celsius, they're regulated in New York. They operate worldwide. All their crypto is insured. They're even insuring their crypto that's being locked up. It really just depends on how much risk you're willing to take. But they manage over, $6 billion in assets right now. There's BlockFi. They have an amazing track record. These are institutions that I wouldn't look past.
I was going to say, and the big reason I asked that though too was because I'm kind of what Haas just said. I'm more inclined to leave it with a BlockFi or whatever you guys end up choosing. I'm more inclined, but again, I've been kind of pressured on my channel for this Ledger or whatever WTF it's called. But just wanted your opinions. Thanks, Haas, on that.
I have a Ledger.
What about like you guys remember when you first started trading Bitcoin, like the emotional swings that were involved in price movement, right? Those violent price movements, 20, 30, 40%. Having my coin on a cold wallet was another layer of snap out of it, man. Don't go nuts just because of the price movement. If you think that the fundies are good on BTC, then what does it matter? 20%, 30% dip. To talk about something Tim said earlier about BTC dominance, like I know we don't agree on that, but I do agree with you on one thing. The time, and I said this on our show, on Len and I's show last week, the time where I would be worried, even in an alt, I hate to say it, but even in an alt, the time where I'd be worried about like a 30% drop in BTC is gone. It's gone. That time has passed now. I think those are buying opportunities now on almost any of the mid caps, big caps. Yeah.
Yeah, if you know where it's going in the next 10 to 20, even further, 100 years from now, people are going to be looking at our generation and being like, holy shit, they bought Bitcoin at $56,000. Can you believe that?
Yes.
It's actually going to be like that. Like things appreciate in value, especially if they can't be recreated. So
I love that. I love that.
Can we just, Tim, I need to get this question from Frank taken care of because it has been popping up over the week. If we could just answer this and we could put it to bed.
I tried. Yeah, whoever Frank is, I tried so many times to look for this Pi coin. I don't know where it is.
And like, it's one of the things I found on, like, it's not listed really.
Frank,
and I'm looking at it and it's like, it says Pi makes crypto mining easy. And, crypto is, risky. Well, I don't want to do that from my phone. Like personally, like that's not where
is that what it is, a phone thing?
It's not on CoinGecko either.
No, and it's
you got to be real careful when you get like projects that aren't listed on CoinGecko. They're below 400 market cap. They maybe have like an obscure, maybe a couple 100,000 in the project. Like just gloss over that. It's probably not worth your time. And if it is, you'll see it in the next couple of months. If you're one of those early investors, you have an inside scoop of what's going on. If not, don't take a risk on something like that. Personally, that not financial advice. Do you? But
no,
it doesn't
that's
seem
awesome.
like it has any working product. Like it's got a couple of Stanford PhD grads and instructors, but like the one thing I'm learning lately is like I want a working product. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be sitting and waiting.
That's right.
And waiting.
So Frank, there's your answer, buddy. So this one from our good friend Jason Spooner says, Joey or Len, do you guys take profits before the 4-year cycle ends? And this is a great podcast.
Thanks for listening into the podcast. But I have to say for myself, I can't speak for Joey. I don't take the profits. I just keep stacking. So I'm never going to pull out. I'm just going to keep putting more money into BTC and stacking more sats.
Anyone want to tackle that never pull out comment, or are we just going to leave it and I'll say something?
It's a family show.
Who wants
okay,
to
that's fine. I don't take profits either. And again, like, thank you for listening to our show. We did talk about this, I think, a couple of weeks ago with the Visa. I think it was Visa USDC maybe, or one of those MasterCard Visa news stories. There's so many of them now that there was a time when you might pull for profit and start to consider like your tax implications and cap gains and all that stuff that you would consider when you're pulling something out. We're lucky here TFSAs work in our favor, at least for the time being, but crypto, you didn't have that protection before some of these ETFs and equities related to the space. So with Visa and some of these other payment processors getting in, PayPal, you name it, right? Venmo in the States, it's pretty clear that the tax regulation is going to come down favorably for Bitcoin. It's not going to be cap gains. Transitory spends are never going to be taxed at the same as capital gains because it's not feasible for these companies to spend billions on rails and investing in some cases like physical facilities in the meat space to facilitate these transactions and whatnot. They wouldn't do that if taxes are going to come down unfavorably. So if you can wait and maybe you don't want that Tesla this year, just hang on, man. Like what's the rush? There's no rush on this.
We can all agree in this panel that I don't see myself ever going fully back into a fractional reserve banking system and an inflationary, currency that just destroys the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
I think all of us, soon I can pay my Visa now soon, through that they'll settle payments in Ethereum. Len, we can buy our Teslas. I know houses are already getting settled in Bitcoin. Joey already mentioned the NFL players getting paid in Bitcoin. we won't have to go back. It's the simple fact of evolution.
And one of my real hopes is that like the adoption happens, that like it's not 2 or 3 coins that matter. I'm hoping it's like 20 coins, if not more, that actually matter, so that this moves forward and like we really are kind of like way ahead. And I actually am not super late to the party.
Well, it's like what Len said too, though. Like Bitcoin is gold, and it's not a good currency. That was the first thing when I first got into Bitcoin in 2017. I was like, it's not what I was told was a currency. It's not a currency. But I obviously fell for Ethereum, but I still valued Bitcoin as gold, which we can all agree it is. So yeah, we will need a coin that takes precedent as a currency and so. And so there's room, in my opinion.
I'm not going to lie. I 100% asked my manager like 2-3 months ago if I could get paid in Bitcoin. Not even going to deny.
Are you in
tech? It didn't work out. It didn't work out. What's that?
Are you in tech? I feel like you got to be doing tech anyway.
No, I'm in the adult learning space, but I work for an insurance company.
All right. Well, you've done your homework very well, man.
Yeah, this is all I do outside of work. Is just
I can tell.
Yeah, but people would say that about you too, Tim. Like all of us, people would be like, "How do you know all this stuff?" The fact is, you go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, like this guy can talk your technicals. You guys know way more. You know, I've learned a lot from both of you guys. Like all 3 of you, like big time.
We learn from you too. Don't tell anybody, but we learn from you too.
I got a legitimate question for everybody here, including the guest here. Do you think Bitcoin is going to go to 25K or 100K? Which is more likely?
100K.
This cycle, is that what we're talking about?
I'd say it's more likely to hit 40K than 100K. I mean, for me, I don't see it hitting 100K before. I mean, that's why I'm not I don't see it hitting it anytime soon. But anytime soon, meaning what though, too? I don't see it happening in the next 6 to 9 months or 12 months, 100K. I can't see it.
You know, Len, that's a great
cycle. The top of the cycle should hit just over 6 figures. That's what I'm charting. And then it'll come back down and settle probably around 40K and then go for that rip.
Yeah, right now, like I'm looking through a lot of the charts and how everything's moving with Bitcoin. There's a lot of talk about the super cycle. I'm not sure if I'm like buying into the whole super cycle narrative. That's a very like scary part to get into, especially if you're somebody that needs to take profits. Like if you need to pull out some money to pay off your house and better your financial system, sure, by all means, that's when you take profits. But I think easily we could see Bitcoin well over the 150K mark this market cycle. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. If it goes longer, we could see it go higher. Like looking at the charts, there's no reason why it can't go higher. It just depends on how much money can flow into the system this cycle. Ultimately, long term, I mean, 10 years, we're going to be at $1 million Bitcoin easy.
See, I'm of the minority here. I think it could hit 25K first before it hits 100K, and this is my rationale. I think it's very much tied to the economy, the world economy, and more so the U.S. economy. And the U.S. economy, and it's kind of, we don't know what's happening over there, but we know they're printing money like crazy. I think the U.S. economy is going to tank in the next little while, and when it does, it's going to drag down everything else with it, including cryptocurrency and Bitcoin.
This is so interesting, Len, that you just brought that up, buddy. I was just listening to an interview. I don't know if many of the viewers know, but Anyway, Thomas Sowell, the economist out of America, was literally just giving an interview today where he was talking about not that it matters political party-wise or whatever, but the Biden financial policies coming into place are, again, doesn't matter what party you follow, but it's just not necessarily great for America in the long term of things. And he was mentioning, he actually brought up cryptocurrencies as being a mandatory when he didn't think it kind of was beforehand. But he was thinking that just given, he said, okay, and again, forget politics, the weakness in policies is demanding more of cryptocurrency now. And again, this is from Thomas Sowell. I'm huge on Thomas Sowell out of America. He's a wicked guy, but I just saw that today. Anyway, Len, I wanted to say that because that's pretty interesting. Because those policies, for instance, and I know Tim was saying earlier in the chat, you don't necessarily believe the news drives the markets. The charts, can go for it too, right? But capital gains news, dude, it was either the biggest coincidence in the world or capital gains news and Biden news does have an impact on Bitcoin. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day,
not an effect. Like a global economy crash is going to kill all markets for sure. I'm just saying, like these subtle little FUD stuff. Like today was Facebook's gonna report.
They're going to announce, yeah.
And there was literally, you saw Bitcoin go from 54 to 56 and back down. Like they totally just liquidated shorters and did all that little play. It was just, it was a play in my opinion, played off of that. But I mean, you mentioned about Dogecoin. I personally think you're a little late to Dogecoin just because Dogecoin has always, it just pattern wise, Dogecoin has always been the front runner before every alt season. And then,
I'm not like, again, as throwaway cash, buddy. I'm not too worried. Am I going to be a Dogecoin millionaire?
He's using it as an
I'm
example.
not knocking that. I'm just saying, like, it always goes up first, and then altcoins run. And
I
then
could see though really dumb. I mean, not dumb. I really got to stop saying that word. It's not a nice word. I could see really kind of. I either use the word dumb investor or weak investor, but I could see people like kind of pushing this to where I'm in profit regardless on a short-term basis, just based on the hype and all of this. But again, long-term, I completely agree with everyone here regarding Doge. Just want to clear that up.
I'm not saying that it's not going up. I'm just saying this is how I knew what was coming. This is how I positioned myself in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Dogecoin is always the front runner, the waving the flag that alts are about to pump. It's happened every single time. There's patterns and trends in the market, and this is why I made so much money in the last 2 weeks, because I knew that it was the same old cycle. So you're going to see that these coins run. Bitcoin's going to chill. It's going to chop. And then Bitcoin's going to go for a stupid run like it did. Screw weird words that we're worried about. It's going to go for a massive run. And that's where I think it's going to top out. And then everything's going to drop, as Len says, probably because of some economical thing. But you got to be 2 months.
And that's where all my profits from all these altcoins, Len. I hope it goes to 25 because that's where I'm going to buy a ton of Bitcoin.
Good for you. Yeah,
do you think it's possible
that's my. If I was to show you my chessboard,
I'm a Bitcoin maximalist at that point.
I think a lot of people would be.
I will become a Bitcoin maximalist.
The thing I don't know about the economy tanking, for example, because I think in the last 15 months, you've seen like the financial realities sort of enter the normie state of mind for the first time. So people now look at something like the Powell Burr meme and they know what it means. They look at everything being measured in trillions in America. They get it. And so I wonder if the American economy really did bite the dust for whatever it was, like let's say they go for a 6 month recession. Is it possible that instead of Bitcoin falling during that time, this time it rises or stays?
No.
I don't know. I don't think it's that sure. I don't think it's that surefire. I think it's maybe not 100%, but I think it's probably at worst like a little less than a coin flip.
There's going to be a lot of people trying to cash out to make ends meet, and one way to do so, the first way I would do so if I was just dire needs for money, is cash out my crypto, and Bitcoin's going to be feeling the effects of that.
So one big thing though, when you think about it, and Joey is like completely right, and we have a prime example of Venezuela. Well, what happened when Venezuela's economy essentially pumped to a record numbers? They had the best stock market of all time. Mm-hmm. Well, what happened right after that? Hyperinflation, economy tanked. It's the stock market doing a parabolic rise like crypto is a sign of a dying economy. It's not a good economy. But what happened with
politics,
Bitcoin,
I think, than their market.
Sure. No, it was hyperinflation, then politics.
Well, hyperinflation caused by what, though? Because at the end of the day, the political environment was so deep in Venezuela that comparing Venezuela to even the most socialist country
I'm not even comparing Venezuela. Don't think about Venezuela. Okay. Same thing happened in Lebanon. Regardless, pick and play your country. Hyperinflation. What happened? Everyone went to Bitcoin. Everyone went to cryptocurrencies. It's going to happen. People are going to recognize that, hey, you have this thing. Maybe it'll dip in the first capitulation. Yep. You have this thing, that's actual hard asset that you can buy right now that's not gold. You don't need to get it delivered. You don't need to do anything. You just order it on your computer. There's a lot of people that are going to protect their capital and go into Bitcoin.
Yeah. I think people get it. I think people get it.
My question This is a newbie conspiracy type question. Oh, sorry, Tim. I was just going to ask this, though, because, again, I can't compare Turkey to North America and Europe. I can't do it. I can't compare Venezuela to the first world. I can't do it. Do you think that any of these, for instance, I don't know, I'm going to generalize, but let's say third world countries, okay, yes, it benefits them the most to adopt cryptocurrency, but do you not feel like they're going to be the most limited? And that, that's my only fear, in that the adoption that we're hoping on is under most threat with the countries who need it most. You know what I mean? Like, that's my only fear with it.
I could be wrong, but I think we're talking about a crash in adoption here in North America, which is
okay. Sorry, I was talking. Yeah. Okay.
About. Like other countries, sure, they're going to adopt cryptocurrencies. They have to in some cases. We see Lebanon literally had to adopt cryptocurrency because their money was worth nothing, absolutely nothing. The banks wouldn't even let them take it out. It was worth nothing. They had to do something. They were buying USD, they were buying the British pound, and they were buying Bitcoin.
We had two central banks reporting that they're going to be buying cryptocurrency. One was Iran, and the other one was Turkey.
Mm-hmm. Didn't United Arab Emirates also declared it as a feasible currency as well?
Yep.
But
yeah,
one thing
those countries are going to they benefit the most. Some of those countries that are like on the edges of the SWIFT network, for example. There's no downside for them, really.
I just worry about corruption. Really, at the end of the day, I worry about corruption in these countries where it's being pushed the most, and that's kind of
a good
like
thing that we're on the blockchain then.
Well, okay, blockchain didn't save anyone in Turkey. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just like, at the end of the day, I always just think about the worst case scenario. And I mean, it's the third. It's not. I'm not worried about my crypto. Let's put it that way. I'm not worried about it at all. But every other one of these countries, I mean, I feel like there will be more turkeys happening. You know what I mean? I just feel like.
Wasn't it exchanges? Correct me if I'm wrong. What was it?
Okay. Yeah, but what's okay? So they're but the
China ban Bitcoin like 50 times at this point.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The problem in Turkey was that the Thodex exchange was whatever turn and burn, right? They took that money off exchange, but I think, and we talked about this on our show that came out today. I think the more critical piece of that little bit of legislation was you can buy and you can sell, but you cannot use it as a payment system in Turkey.
Oh.
And so that inspires a crisis of confidence in the lira. And that's really what I think is the key piece there. It's not an outright ban on holding or selling, but I think about what would happen here if America or Canada was said, hey, you can't use this as a payment system. People are not stupid anymore. They look at the stuff that's going on and they think, okay, the government's telling me, like I was in our union negotiations. So I work for the public service. No, I'll tell you something. I work for the public service. We were in our union salary negotiations today. And these guys tried to tell us that they were outperforming CPI. And the number they used for CPI was 1.4% on average over the last 25 years. It's a bullshit number.
What a joke.
And so I know. And so when you start talking about people understanding that the numbers they're being fed are not true, that's a great example. Nobody you ask on the street, shoeshine boy, Wall Street vet, a guy who works at Sears or the Bay. I know Sears, RIP. God bless you. Your time here was too short.
God bless.
Your time here was too short. The thing that people know for sure is that 1.6% is not the number. They don't know if it's 10% or 15%, but they know it's not 1.6.
Joey,
that's why I think if people buy Bitcoin on an economic downturn, like I would not be surprised. I would not.
So the 1.9 trillion that was just released last month or 2 months ago, I just want to put in perspective what a trillion is, because we've been talking about this like it's nothing. If you give somebody $1 million a day for 2,000 years, that doesn't even equal $1 trillion. That's only $730 billion. So $1 million a day for 2,000 years still does not equate to $1 trillion. So we're throwing away trillions like it's nothing, but it is a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
No, that's absolutely true, Len. Absolutely true. I've been worried about the economy for a long, long time. Whether Bitcoin goes down or Bitcoin goes up. If it goes down in the short run, we're still going to hold on to it because no matter what, I think it's going to rise because people are going to figure it out. And once you know, you can't unknow. That's how I feel about Bitcoin. Once you know what it's really all about, you can't unknow. And you should be thinking and running towards it as fast as possible. That's my opinion. It's not financial advice.
But there was a comment by
Nancy.
Mark.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, though, for all the beginners out there, because, again, I'm the newbie in the channel, okay? Everyone's been giving me at least a little bit of credit, and that I'm the newbie, okay? But adoption rate is key. I mean, that's at the end of the day, adoption rate is key. As we've seen, all it takes is one win in crypto for someone to be involved with it for the rest of their lives. And it's slowly getting to really, honestly, what got me into stocks is my first day trade win. Now, did I make money day trading? No, I lost. And that's why I trade the way I do now. But at the end of the day, it's going to take just one instance where you're up even a fraction of a second, like for instance, I'm looking at my Doge right now, it's up. I don't hate it as much as I did last week, okay, even though it's ridiculous. I'm just saying it takes one instance. Let's get off of Doge. Let's talk about Bitcoin. For all the newbies that are getting into it I really think that like this I don't know if we have mainstream kind of adoption yet, even though it's all over the news. Let's put it this way. It's all over the news for people who are looking for this news, because I ask people who don't know about it and they don't know about it. And they're on YouTube all the time. They're doing this. They're watching. They don't know about it. I mean, you got to think the way that data operates these days. We're fed what we want to be fed. That's the rule of the internet. Okay, so everyone has to keep that in mind. And as a YouTuber, I can tell that to a T. So it's a bubble that we all kind of live in. The bubble's going to get a little bit bigger every single day, though. It's just I can't wait for someone who I never thought would ever get into it. I mean, Nancy, to you guys, I'm the guy who kind of never would get into it. Now I'm into it. I'm just waiting for my guy or girl, whatever, to get into it who's never going to get into it. But for anyone who's afraid that they think it's too late, I don't think Bitcoin or Ethereum is too late at all at the moment. But don't buy into altcoins.
No, as long as they keep printing money. As long as they keep printing money, it's you still have to park it somewhere, and it's a good place to park it. And I do want to talk more about Doge, if you don't mind.
Oh no!
Start your own Doge channel. No one cares.
My question was,
I'll
I'm
give you
thinking
the
about
bat.
this and listening to everyone here tonight talk about, at what point does fiat really bite the dust and we rely on Bitcoin to a certain extent as a trading use of point of sale, currency. Do you think that Visa and all these Visa cards coming out now are starting to play ahead into that with an end game in sight?
They already are.
Yeah.
No, I know they are, but do you think that they're seeing the future that fiat's not going to be anything, and that now that because they're already launching something now, it's going to be the way to?
They have to, Tim. They have, because the reason why, if they don't get on board, these cryptocurrencies is just going to basically make them irrelevant.
Eat the world. The people that own the most fiat right now are the ones that are the most bullish on the future of Bitcoin, like Visa, MasterCard, all these platforms, because they need to. Otherwise, the world is gone. Like, to go back on Ryan's point, we are super, super early at all of this, because going to what Len said about market caps and how big $1 trillion, how big $1 trillion is, because it's massive. But in the grand scheme of things, when you look at the crypto market cap being at 2 trillion, gold is at 10 trillion. The stock market is at 110 trillion. It goes on and on and on. Those numbers get bigger and bigger and bigger. Once this market class is really matured, these numbers are going to seem like peanuts.
Yeah.
So look at Verena's comment here. I've got an answer to this. If you look around me, 98% does not know or care about crypto, BTC. You know what I tell you, Verena? Look in the mirror. You'll be much more happier.
No, but that should give people
home now,
encouragement
Verena.
too. That should give
your
people a
family
lot
now.
of encouragement.
Had to get the dad joke in.
You're super early. That's why.
Yeah, people don't even know, man. Like, there's people who go on TV and call this thing a Ponzi scheme. Like, you can't be that stupid.
You got to be living under a rock to not understand.
It's incredible. It's incredible. Like, for all this stuff to be going on, like Visa, MasterCard, PayPal,
And
these guys are monsters. Yeah, they're monoliths. Like, they're not offshoot companies. Like, these guys have been running the entire US online economy for a decade. And you think that they're going to jump on because what? They want to get a couple of bucks out of their crypto gains? Like, no, man. They see the writing on the wall.
Nexon put in another 100, or they put $100 million to buy Bitcoin. So, like, you hear these stories every day. So you have to be living under a rock to just be, oblivious to what's going on.
And when you see institutional investment in, the secondary, like ETH and so on, like there was, you're seeing more and more that have XRP in their holdings. Like, it's not going away if big business and the people that know about money and want to hold on to power and money are in it. We're probably in the right place. Like,
I think there's a general rule that if a technology or a specific thing has been around for 10 years, usually its longevity is going to be good. That's why, even though I'm not a big Dogecoin fan, it's not going anywhere. That's the best part about Dogecoin. It really isn't going anywhere. It's not going to go to zero. Fundamentally, it can't. But these coins are all going to be around. Some are going to be way more useful and way more valuable than others.
I'm just curious. What does everybody think for the next 2 weeks? What's going to be the big winner? Which coin?
I'm not a short-term guy, so that's not me.
Well, we know where I put my money.
I gotta start shopping for
where?
a new co-host. I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't know what happened to you this hour. You're talking about
Later,
altcoin
honey.
bots and Ethereum.
I mean,
I'm
I'm
just
more
curious.
Rex and Maddox, so.
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what all this futures and options closeout is because it's this week, right? It's on Friday. So I think if, Bitcoin does well, it should help ETH. Like, it shouldn't hurt us. And most of mine is invested in ETH right now, and I think it's got a lot of legs, but I'm hoping that everyone goes up, really. Like, I'd love to have a big Twitter party with everyone who's making tons of money.
Hey, there's like no doubt that ETH is going to run to, I don't know, $5,000, probably something like that, at least. Like, Bitcoin is going to, will Bitcoin be 60K at that point? Probably not. It'll be higher, but I mean, Ethereum is going to go because, like, you guys are not new investors, so I'm not aiming this at you guys, but people have unit bias when they first start buying crypto. And so they look at Ethereum and say, I can get one Ethereum for, $2,500 or whatever it is right now, $3,000 maybe. And they like that more. And that's
not a joke.
Bad way to think.
Yeah.
I did the same thing. It was, I just couldn't conceptualize it at first.
And you know what? Look at the comments. ETH is dominating the coins. So
yeah.
I mean,
It's having its run, right? Like, Bitcoin owned the run for the last, God knows, like, few months, right? And this is the cycle. Then Dogecoin goes, hey, look at me. And that's always, I swear, it's a signal, man. It's the easiest if you've been in crypto. I think I watched you guys. You said 2017, right? Or at least Joey won.
No, we were. We got in 2017. Yeah.
Same?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, I've been in the game, like, pretty much full time since then. And Dogecoin, for some reason, always, like, goes pumping. And then you just start buying altcoins. That's when you go out of Bitcoin. And then once all that goes, you'll have an alt run. You'll have a chop in Bitcoin. Bitcoin will go up. And that's when you know to get in Bitcoin again, because everything's just going to drop. And it's better to be in Bitcoin because, it's not going to drop as significantly as all the altcoins will.
Yeah.
Tim, I hope you make bank one day. If we'll both be in the Caribbean. We want a little
And I
beach
hope
time.
you will invite us down for some margaritas. I'm good on
I pretty much
margaritas.
2x my total portfolio in the last 3 days. So I'm
Not a boy, man.
I haven't
Whatever
slept.
works.
I'm like, yeah, actually, I say you can't sleep when it's bad. You also can't sleep when it's good either.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Nancy and Tim love it because they've got almost 2 ETH with me that's in on this ride.
So I wanted to chip in here with some. I went off the radar a bit, and I found a way that you can actually earn free coins. They're very limited, but it's OVR is the ticker. They've actually just released an auction for 30 plots of land under the Eiffel Tower, and I think it's like 1.8 trillion plots of land. It's basically put over top of, like, all the cities in the world. And if you download this app, you just basically, I guess, you're mapping out their system I've done it 3 times. I've got 2.2 coins out of it, and they're at like $1.50 each. But, like, if someone's trying to get involved and not spend money, I literally haven't spent anything for these. But I'm just trying, and I really love this. It's just this kind of cool thing that similar vibe to kind of like Decentraland, but not that style of decentralization. But you were talking
reality,
about,
right?
Yeah, it's augmented reality. It's just, if, like, this is what I've been digging into, and it's been kind of cool because I go for a walk for 2 or 3 minutes and get a coin. So
you can also think of doing things like installing the Brave browser and just getting Brave tokens, SPAT tokens.
Yeah.
I got a question for Len and Haas, just to, like, so I can get to know you, because Len, you dabble. What's your top altcoins between, like, I don't know who wants to go first, Len or Haas, but, like, I'd like to just get a style, like, for where you guys look and what.
I have
Careful how you answer this, Len. Careful how you
I have.
answer this.
If you want to consider ETH an altcoin, I have very small amount of that.
Altcoins, some don't, but I do.
But for my, like, Binance bot, I just randomly chose a whole bunch of coins that I see that has volume, threw it on there, and let it do its thing. I have no idea what they're all about.
I envy that.
So I'm oblivious to that.
Dude, I've been on the dark web, like I said. I'm selling crack. I'm selling my body for someone. Give me a bot, man. Haas, what about you? You mentioned
no money coming off this video.
You know what's extremely funny? Even though I'm pro Bitcoin, really, really heavy Bitcoin, my second holding is Bitcoin. Bitcoin's not even my number one. I'd probably say, in terms of altcoins and where I'm looking, I'm going to get a lot of hate, and I totally understand it and recognize that I've done my full research on the token and everything else. I understand exactly how it works, is XRP. There's a lot of FUD around the space. I get it. And there's a lot of the conspiracy bullshit that comes with all, sorry, I didn't mean to swear. A lot of conspiracy stuff that comes through, you know what I mean? That people talk about this $10,000 XRP and, you know, it's going to take over the global people need to chill. It's not what this is.
Ripple was a topic of discussion at our.
I know. I heard because you said it was infinite, but it's not infinite. So like the thing, my bet with XRP is the legislative requirements and the clarity that hopefully it'll get with the SEC. Now I've been invested in XRP way before the SEC case even happened. So when the SEC case happened, I kept buying because ultimately when you look at it, what company are they going to work for, or what blockchain are they going to work with, the US and the financial system, when we have clarity for XRP when this case is gone? Because if you're following the case, you know at this point Ripple's going to win. Well, when they have that clarity, what's going to happen? Well, instantly we're going to have onboarding of legacy financial systems that are going onto basically the distributed ledger. I'm not saying that XRP is going to run it, but the distributed ledger that operates XRP is going to conduct arbitrage to make sure that these trades finalize instantly. So that's why I'm super bullish on XRP, why that's my number one holding. Past that is ETH, and then it goes into a slew of other altcoins.
Give me a gem, man. Give me something like not discovered yet that you think is going to come on.
XOR, so Zor. So there's the new PokeSwap DEX coming out that was just launched yesterday. But Polkadot's going to be an extremely bullish platform in terms of like what Ethereum does in DeFi. But Zor is the network token that runs the PSwap system. So I definitely look into that.
Cool. I will. I feel like people are muted. Nancy, Tim.
Everyone's muted. They're talking to each other on the phone or something.
Just
Am I? All right.
Channel stuff.
Ryan's not muted now. He was.
We got Glenn in the house now. Too.
I'm only muting myself because my mini little Doge over here is.
Let's see the dog, man.
You want to see the dog? Okay, you guys keep chatting. We're in 2 hours into this, by the way. For whoever hasn't already liked and subscribed to this Brady bunch of characters we got going on, hit the like button.
Terrific.
I'll get my little mini Doge.
Yeah.
This is awesome, and we've got Ken in the house. He's the great Canadian.
Great white
vapor.
Oh
Everybody's great,
Nancy. The great Canadian Bitcoiners, the great white vapor. We got everybody in the house.
Canadian Bitcoiners. You're back to
Ken
that
brought
again.
the beta dip.
Oh, he did, and I can see my brothers in the house too. Hi, Gus. Thank you for coming on. And this is Eddie. Hi, Eddie.
Eddie.
That's a great name for a dog.
Eddie just stole the show.
Yes.
He's done. He doesn't want to chill anymore, guys. He's freaking out. He's a puppy. He's doing his thing, but he's been.
Anyways, it was good to see you guys. Ken, how are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. Pretty good. I've been dealing with Bell all night, so.
Oh,
fun.
And me being late.
That's okay. So we've been 2 hours. Not sure if there's much more to talk about. Does everybody want to go around the table and just and give us final words?
Yeah, well, you know what? It would be what is their prediction for the next 2 weeks? I know what your answer is. I know what your answer is.
Yeah, all I'm doing in the next 2 weeks, because I'm kind of long term on 99% of stuff I do, I'll be selling my Doge. That's where I'm at in the next 2 weeks. But Nancy, I'll be selling it. Don't worry. But that's what I'll be doing by May 8th to 10th, and everything else I'm diamond handing till the end of time.
Len?
Ethereum.
I predict there's going to be some big news with Bitcoin within the next 2 weeks. We have a lot of big players still to report their earnings. Somebody is going to have to report that they've purchased BTC. I'm just waiting to see whom. Perhaps a few companies are going to be releasing that information. And once that hits the news wire, it's going to make BTC spike like a rocket.
Excellent. Joey?
Next 2 weeks, I don't know. I think Len's probably right. There will be probably one corporate announcement, though. I don't know if it'll be one of these top dogs. Like I bought some Facebook stock today. I'm a big Apple holder already. Amazon I have. So I'm in those companies regardless of whether they buy Bitcoin or not. It's fine with me either way. But I think for the next 2 weeks, the prediction on my side of things is I'm going to keep buying. I hope there's a bit of a dip, maybe into like the high 40s. I think some of the guys on the channel mentioned that already. I think we might get there. We'll see. But in the interim, man, just keep doing your thing. Don't worry too much about the small stuff. Don't worry too much about the price moves.
So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you, Joy and Len have a podcast station or channel, pardon me, the Canadian Bitcoiners, and I've been watching them. Oh man, and they get into a different thing that we kind of do on this channel, but it is just as valuable, in my opinion, to listen to these guys as well, because they go over all kinds of stuff. They fill a void that we don't give you, to a certain extent.
Real people talking about real important things. I mean, that's why the Canadian Bitcoiners are amazing commenters on my channel, contributors on yours. I mean, there's something to be said. That's why people love Tim Perry. They're going to start loving Haas over here. They like Neil. I mean, and we got Ken down here. It's the Brady Bunch. I mean, this is a very unique crew.
Yeah, no, I love it. And so let's go to the middle of the pack.
Whose speakers are echoing? Feedback.
I don't hear it.
I heard it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I muted us immediately.
Okay.
Why would it have been us? Anyways, so let's go to Haas. Haas, what are you feeling for the next 2 weeks? What do you think's going to happen?
So I'm going to take a technical approach on this. In terms of what's happened in the charts, we've bounced off the 100 days. So I wouldn't say that we're still out of the woods quite yet for a further capitulation down on Bitcoin. I'd say that's very realistic for us to test down below 44,000. I don't think it'll get any further if it does go that route, though. I think after that, it'll start to level off and we'll rebound. Hopefully, also fire off at the same time. Hopefully, but we'll see what happens. Right now, I'm kind of toying around with I'm doing some research on a bunch of different indicators that are happening with glass
Node.
Yeah, thank you. Good Lord. All the different charts there to entertain the idea of a super cycle in a video. I'm not personally super bullish on a super cycle. I don't think that's where we're going to go. But I'd like to entertain the option to see what that might look like. So it's going to be a bunch of dubious speculation. But for right now, I'm a little bearish in the short term, but it doesn't matter.
Excellent. Mr. Neil, how do you feel, the Coin Chaser?
I'm hoping I've got a few things that have done better. I don't think it's any shock that the stuff I've invested in more recently, as opposed to when I first started, has done a lot better. I'm hoping for a few profits just because I learned the lesson of not having anything left to buy dips. I really like Kusama, and I saw it at 380 the other day when it dropped, and I was just kicking myself, or 280, that I was like, how the heck do I not have any money? So I'm just trying to get a little bit on the side to buy some dips, and then I'm just holding. Even the last couple downturns, I haven't done anything. I've actually bought in the dips, so I'm doing what I'm told by the experts.
Well,
Buy the dip.
That's good. That's good. And Ken, I know you're a little late to the game, but what have you?
Just a little.
I know, but what do you feel for the next couple of weeks? You're in tune with a bunch of stuff going on. What do you think?
Wood. Gonna buy some wood.
Good Lord, man. What is going on with the lumber prices?
Smart.
You know that a 4x8 sheet can get a Corvette today?
I did a massive day trade play. Not day trade. I'm probably going to be a week-long trade at this point. I did a massive one on that stock. I've been in it for a while. Sorry?
West Fraser?
Yeah. Now I'm making videos about it coming up, yada, yada, yada. But anyway, for the sake of just this conversation, I just experimented. Again, you guys know where I'm at. So I threw a couple of, I don't even want to break down the dollar amount because it's irrelevant. I threw enough at it, and I've got a little day trade coming out. Now, I thought the earnings were coming out on the 26th, and that website screwed me. And Yahoo Finance is like, oh, it's postponed until the 5th. Oh, my God. So all of a sudden, I'm in here for a week and a half. But anyway, whatever. It is West Fraser, though. I got a lot of faith that, even in my video, timber prices are up 14-fold at a minimum in the last forever. So look at the Chicago lumber. I can't even reference it by name right now, but go back to that video, for instance. But that Chicago lumber index, whatever the heck it's called, it doesn't even make sense. The chart looks like a Bitcoin chart, for God's sakes. It doesn't even make sense. But no, so I did a little day trade play on that for sure. So we'll see what happens.
The price of lumber is the reason why the price of homes are spiking.
I would say it's
part of it.
I would
Part
say
of it.
it's the other way around. I'd
There's
say
no
it's
relevance to that.
I don't think so, but nice
New
try.
builds, Len. New builds.
You got to, yeah, there's combinations of interest rates. There's, yeah, well, the price of lumber goes up and then everything down the line also goes up with respect to everything. I know, for instance, my parents aren't involved in anything lumber, but they've got construction businesses up the yin yang on pretty much everything but framing, and their construction equipment or material has risen like it. If lumber is the cause of this, then every freaking thing from caulking to plastic to lumber to gas to, I mean, everything's going up. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But lumber is friggin' nuts, man.
Inflation's 2%.
You also have to make your
but
profit
what are
back.
the interest rates? The interest rates, you know, we have Joey here who disagrees with me. Interest rates need to come up. If we come up by a quarter,
I agree with you. I
think
think they do have to come up. I just don't think they will.
Immediately. If we go up by a 0.25% interest rates and it's reflected based on bank rates between say 1% and 4%, depending on where you're at. So a 0.25 point can reflect differently, obviously, on the bank's end, right? But if you're living within like 1 to 3 or 4% of your mortgage, you're probably living outside your means. I shouldn't say that for 4%. But if you're living 1% outside of your mortgage, like outside of, like if you can't afford 1%, you're living outside your means. That's how I was raised, honest to God, on that you should be able to afford a hell of a lot more than the next raised bump. I don't believe it's good for people at all. We have Kevin O'Leary, for instance. I shouldn't say that word, but I know, I don't care what anyone thinks about that guy. Okay. He predicted mind medicine. And I know a lot of people like you made a bank on it, but I will say that, for instance, the housing market in Canada doesn't make sense. When he says it's supposed to correct 10 to 15, maybe 20%, that does make sense. How can you sustain prices the way that they're going or outbid a townhouse listed at 400 and it sells for 650? That's not sustainable. That doesn't make sense. The correction's obvious. So it's just a matter of time.
It's not going to happen, and there'd be no increase in rates. It would be political suicide. The Minister of Finance
wouldn't, man.
I think the Minister of Finance has the final say if they're going to be raising.
What Minister of Finance? She hasn't released a budget in 2 years.
I'm talking about the framework we just set up. So the Minister of Finance does have the final say, and I can't see this government saying, okay, let's raise rates.
I can't see this government doing anything, but this government needs to literally raise rates.
Okay.
I love it.
Here's the thing. Under this circumstance, under this situation,
are we talking federal or provincial?
No.
In this circumstance, with the system that we're in the crisis that's going on, there is no possible way that we are going to see rate increases. If anything, we're going to get closer and closer to the negative rates. Whether that's good or not, I'm not gonna.
I truly believe that's the most.
We're not going to get a rate increase.
Like what he, I agree with Hoff
one at a time because nobody can hear you.
I thought we were wrapping up. What happened?
I know.
I
know. Well, let's just save this for another time. Let's just save this for another time. Let's go over to Tim Perry. What do you think for the next 2 weeks? And gosh, don't get back into the interest rate conversation.
The budget.
Well, I don't care about government, so we know we're good. But I obviously I expect end of month shenanigans. I definitely think we need to paint an ugly close to make everyone bearish again. And I think the first few days of May will have everybody on edge again, kind of like everybody was for like a couple weeks there. And then I expect everyone to strap the F in.
You think May's going to be wild? May and June?
I think May, June. I don't think you're going to have a whole lot of time, to be honest. Because I kind of agree with Len. I think there will be a global little shakeout that will probably start midsummer. And then I agree with Joe, though. Bitcoin, crypto will bounce back faster than everything else. But I think we're still going to be affected. But I think a run that everyone should be taking profits is coming. And obviously I'm tasting it right now. So, and yeah, that's why I'm not sleeping, because I'm just trying to make my money work for as fast as I can.
Why not just maintain and just buy the dip? Like,
buy the dip, man.
No, but why not just maintain? I know you might not want to maintain on shit coins, for instance, but like, why not maintain on Ethereum, Bitcoin, or your stable stock positions, like, and buy the dip, like that's
what Joe and Led said. I want to stack sats, and I'm one of those people, like, I don't like to waste time. So sure, I could sit in all these normal coins, but I have a skill set and I can make money. Yeah. So like I took 4 figures and turned it into 5 figures. You know, like I've coached. I took $300 and turned in almost $500,000. So like I know how to make money. but I also know how to lose it all. You know, so I've been liquidated. I'm not doing it again, and I see that ability now. You know, opportunity only knocks once, man. That's why I went so heavy into Matic. I believed what I was seeing. I think you're going to see a network mini trend coming in the next few weeks. Money's going to flow to Matic, and then it's going to flow to Solana, and oh God, what's the other one?
I want names. Keep going.
But
Matic is paybacks. I've been testing out Solana. I think it's crap, but I can see that there's on social analytics, there's a lot more social trends showing for Solana. But man, I tried it. It's crap. But I've been messing around with the Matic system, and it's amazing. That's what got me.
I sold my Matic.
You sold it?
I sold it, yeah.
At what price though?
I think it was around 90 cents.
Oh, that's great, man. You can't fall. I thought you meant like you sold it like days ago.
No.
But I can't.
I seen it was climbing, and I was like, you know what? I've been sitting here for 6 weeks waiting for it to move from like 36 cents.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump out now and reevaluate it again.
But I mean, at the same time, you had a month of accumulation, right? On a pretty hefty coin. And any other platform, their market caps are way higher. It's same why I'm in QuickSwap right now, which is the main swap right now for the Matic chain, is all the other market caps for pancake swaps like 5 billion. This was 100 million. It was the easiest. And I don't normally jump into a coin that's already a 1x, but I did, and it's doing okay. But I'm riding that trend for 2 weeks or so. But I mean, right. I can now all Aave, all the Ethereum, because you can swap very easily with Ethereum now, and even the ETH coins that are backed on the ETH platform are integrating on a Matic. So now you can do swaps. Like today, I swapped out of Uniswap. It cost me $40 in fees. I was so pissed. Everything on Matic right now, it's 2 cents. So I can do day trades now. I can do anything. I don't have to worry about fees.
Will that ever change? This is a newbie question. What the F is with the differences in fees?
You need F version 2. It's the same way when Bitcoin gets all that. Yeah, then I'll jump on board and be like, Bitcoin's still the best. It'll be the best thing ever. But we need that to happen. ETH2 so far keeps getting delayed. But we do have Uniswap version 3 coming. That's why your Uniswap, I don't know if you just noticed, Rye, but you're up like 10% already today.
Dude, since I bought it, I'm up. It's at $90 and I had 60 when I bought it. So it's up 50%.
If I had any extra money, because I noticed the chart 1 inch is also going to go, you're about to see a mini trend on swaps too. And I think QuickSwap, Pancake are going to go up the most on the outpacing, but Uniswap, all that 1 inch, all building up because of version 3 Uniswap, which will be a month-long party for swaps.
This stupid thing is, like, I know I would never recommend it to anyone else, but again, Tim Perry knows. I don't think anyone else knows. I let my computer mine for me, which is the dumbest thing to do, so don't let people do it, okay? It's the dumbest thing to do, but again, I have no info on here. It's a work computer, I guess you'd call it. But with the nice hash miner, for instance, I've been swapping into, like, Sushi. I think you just said that. I don't know if you just did. There's, like, 1 inch. I've been swapping into Zcash, and like I'm not actually buying it, right? Like my computer, the second I turn it off, it'll just go mine whatever the hell I want it to mine. Well, all until I turn it off, right? But I've been acquiring these little, like, stupid little things that are at the smallest price known to man, or whatever nice hash introduces. For instance, I'm on it like white on rice. But just because I'm not paying for it, like, do you see them actually having utility? Because I'm buying things at this point with free money, so it's not real money. But like 1 inch, for instance, like, I mean, it's being pushed like crazy on Nice Hash, which is what the mining software I'm using. But I don't know why. I mean,
I'll be the first to admit that most coins, and I've said this a million times, most coins don't need a coin. You know, they don't. And I can agree with the Bitcoiners on that. There's majority of these coins don't have utility. The only way they suck in some utility, at least with like 1 inch Uniswap, the reason why you buy it is because you get incentives when you hold it. So if you're doing trades, you get less. You know, if you hold Binance, BNB, you get far more incentives when you trade, and you get stuff like that. So they build slight utilities. Not that that matters to me much, but I'm doing this from a stacked sats kind of view, or / build money to be into USDT. And then I will go on to Yield Protocol, and I'll be my own lender, and I'll get 10% for every lend I do. This is for me to build a living off of the side hustle. Sats and US and stable coins for me, and build a passive income so I don't have to be in the volatility game and not sleep for the rest of my life.
Wow.
And sorry, Journey, Matic is Polygon. Yes, they've rebranded. The ticker's still Matic, but it's Polygon. Yeah.
And is it MATIC?
MATIC, yeah. I threw 10K more in at 80 cents. I don't recommend doing what I did, but because some people are like, I can tell everyone's going to go like look it up and possibly buy it. You could be buying the local top. You're not buying the end top, but you could be buying the local top. It kind of hit resistance, did a double top today, so we'll see.
Wow. Well, on that note, I wanted to say a big, ginormous thanks a million to Joey and Len, the Canadian Bitcoiners. Thank you guys for coming. Really, really appreciate it. For all of you, all of our viewers tonight, we'd love for you to drop on over and subscribe to their channel. They've got really great content. And Haas from Onyx Block, yet again, you did not disappoint in any way, shape, or form. Total rock star. Can't wait to have more time with you in the future. Tim Perry, you know you're near and dear. Thank you for helping us as always. Neil and Ken, totally appreciate your time tonight. And as always, Ryan Hemsley from the HiRye channel, our partner in crime. And we very much look forward to another crypto night in Canada next week. And Lord knows what that's going to look like. So thank you to our viewers. I hope you all have an amazing night tonight, and we'll hope to see you again soon. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye.